about driving the baseball. I think when we square some things up tonight, get back on track, get a couple base hits early, I think things will fall into place.
And I know you're someone that also made that transition from aluminum bats to wooden bats playing in Trenton last year in the MLB Draft League. How long does that time period take to make that adjustment, would you say?
Right. I mean, I hope it happens tonight, but, it could be a couple days, it could be a week or so. But I know these guys believe in themselves. They're a bunch of studs. I know they're going to get it done.
And what is the toughest part about that adjustment?
I think definitely just the confidence factor of if you don't square it up, it's not going to go anywhere. With metal bats, you get a few more cheap hits. You might not square the ball up, and it still might be a double or even a home run. But with wood, you really got to hit it on that sweet spot, or else it's not going anywhere.
All right, thank you so much for the time. The Commodores looking to hit a lot of sweet spots tonight as Open the Door rolls on between the Firebirds and the Commodores. Stay with us.
Great.
Appreciate your patience.
I think
For 45 years, heartbreak has plagued Falmouth. Since 1980, the Cape Cod crown has stayed just out of reach. And last season, the Commodores took a step backward.
2024 season comes to an end on a rainy night at Spillane Field as the Gatemen close it out and defeat the Commodores.
But this summer, everything changes. A new era begins at Fuller Field with a new voice in the dugout. 2013 World Series champion Jared Saltalamacchia is here to lead the charge.
Swinging a line, right base hit into left field. That's the ball game. The Red Sox have rallied to win game 2. They've won it. The Sox have won it 6-5. Jared Saltalamacchia with a walk-off base hit.
New leadership, new hunger, and one mission: bring Cape Cod glory back to Falmouth. So wherever you are, sit down and get ready. The doors are on the air. This is Falmouth Commodores baseball, and it starts right now.
Game 4 of the Cape Cod Baseball League season. Oh, that's not words. Yeah. All right. Welcome into Open the Door, Game 4 of the Cape Cod Baseball League season between the Falmouth Commodores and the Orleans Firebirds. Andrew Del Piano joined by Commodores hitting coach Jack O'Reilly. Coach, the bats have been a little bit cold in this first 3 games. What approach-wise have you seen from this team so far?
Right. It's a tough league to hit in. It's not a very offensive league to begin with, but I just think these guys need to believe in themselves and understand that they're here for a reason.
In terms of what needs to be better in these next couple of games, what are you looking to see for the team tonight and most importantly the rest of the season?
Right, yeah. So changing from metal bats to wood bats, you got to focus on just squaring the baseball up and not so much worry about driving the baseball. I think when we square some things up tonight, get back on track, get a couple base hits early, I think things will fall into place.
And I know you're someone that also made that transition from aluminum bats to wooden bats playing in Trenton last year in the MLB Draft League. How long does that time period take to make that adjustment, would you say?
Right. I mean, I hope it happens tonight, but, it could be a couple days, it could be a week or so. But I know these guys believe in themselves. They're a bunch of studs. I know they're going to get it done.
And what is the toughest part about that adjustment?
I think definitely just the confidence factor of if you don't square it up, it's not going to go anywhere. With metal bats, you get a few more cheap hits. You might not square the ball up, and it still might be a double or even a home run. But with wood, you really got to hit it on that sweet spot, or else it's not going anywhere.
All right, thank you so much for the time. The Commodores looking to hit a lot.
The rumbling here at Eldridge Park, but there hasn't been much rumbling.
That would have been good. That would have been good.
All right, let's go. All right, good. Are we too far in? We're good?
Yeah.
Take a step forward.
Opening the door rolls on here at Eldridge Park. I'm Timmy Weiss, joined alongside by Ryan Martin and Andrew Della Piana.
Yeah, it was a season-high 5 hits for the Commodores in that shutout loss, but you see that 0 on the scoreboard, unable to plate a run there. And that's been one of the issues this season. You heard Andrew talk with hitting coach and Jack O'Reilly. I think that confidence thing was a really big thing that stood out from their conversation together. Maybe that confidence can all be pieced together here in Orleans today.
One thing that has been better is the starting pitching, but on the other side of that, Andrew, the bullpen has had its troubles.
And especially in that ninth frame as well. Look, you're getting guys setting the tone really well, whether it was Grayson Saunier back on Saturday, even on yesterday's ball game with TJ Coates, and even in Saturday as well with Kate Neishman. Guys are going 4 innings, pumping in a lot of strikes, 7, 8 strikeout kind of guys, but the bullpen really has to figure things out, especially in that ninth inning for the Commodores to give itself a chance.
These two teams split the series matchup 2-2 last year, but Ryan, there was one game in particular that had some weird technical difficulties with the weather.
Yeah, all the games were very close, right? So 3 of those 4 games were decided by 2 or fewer runs. But I'm going back to the last time this Firebirds team was at the Gov. A 7th inning fog delay, and that game got called after 7 innings. 11-10 win for the Commodores. But the Doors plated 5 runs in the bottom of the 7th. They walked it off, guys, before the fog became too much on Main Street in Falmouth. That was an exciting one at the Gov. Maybe we could be in for some more fireworks here today at Eldridge Park.
It's Game 4 of the Commodores season against the Orleans Firebirds.
The finishing of our country's national anthem, which means it's just about time for baseball at Eldridge Park in Orleans, Massachusetts. Tonight, the Falmouth Commodores back on the road, heading over again to the East Division, this time playing the Orleans Firebirds, a team that it split the season series with 2-2 last season. Both teams Commodores coming to this one with a 1-2 record. Orleans countering with a 2-1 total. Here on Falmouth Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV, I'm Ryan Martin alongside Andrew Della Piana for this one. And Andrew, the Commodores win its first game of the season at Chatham, and then 2 straight losses at home is how we stand here before Eldridge Park.
Yeah, really good defensive showing, pitching showing back on Friday, back on opening day in that Chatham victory where he only needed the one run to win that one against the Anglers, but then you come back home, the bats become a little bit colder, the arms in the bullpen begin to fade off just a little bit, and that results in 2 losses. So maybe getting away from the Gov, you might not say it all that often. This is a team that really struggled on the road last season, going 4-15 away from the Gov, but maybe it's just what you need to get back on track.
Through 3 games so far and 88 at-bats, a 114 team average for the Commodores, who are coming off a season-high 5 hits in that 6-0 shutout against Harwich yesterday. And we're talking about a pregame, though, Andrew, as well. These guys used to collegiate baseball where the most games you really play in a row would be 3 in a weekend series. Now all of a sudden, Game 4 and as many days in Orleans before a fun one against Fenway, maybe a reason to finally get some confidence into those bats.
Well, you really just kind of throw out everything right now where it's different things playing a factor, different ballparks, different pitchers, different bats as well, but it's still early in the season, but you got to find some time to really find yourself of what kind of team you want to be during this time of year especially.
Have to see who wants it more here with the Falmouth Commodores. And speaking of the Commodores, who are the starting 9 that Jared Saltzlamakia is trotting out, Andrew, in this 4th game to try to get those bats going?
Yeah, it's Antonio Morales who leads things off for Falmouth, followed by Justin Osterhaus. Batting 3rd is Bear Harrison, the catcher. Batting cleanup is the left fielder John Smith. In the 5 spot, it's the 3rd baseman Kyle Morrison. Batting 6th, it's the center fielder Mike Ganu. In the 7th spot is the DH David McCann. Batting 8th is the first baseman Landon Moran. Again, the 9th spot rounding out it is Carl Schmidt, and they will be going against number 47, the righty Truman Pauly tonight.
Pauly, the rising junior out of Harvard, and honorable mention all Ivy League selection, and was a member of the Ivy League tournament team. It's a Firebirds team that knows how to pitch well under 20th year manager Kelly Nicholson. That's the highest amongst all 10 Cape teams and the highest in the modern Cape League era.
Well, he started his first 5 years here with the Firebirds as the pitching coach, and those sequence of teams were usually one of the best in the Cape League. All 5 of them had a sub-3 ERA by the time he transitioned over to a head coach, and a legendary figure here in the Cape, and against first-year manager Jared Saltamaki on the other side.
Through 3 games, it's been mediocre for the Orleans Firebirds. A .233 average is 4th best in the Cape. Commodores down there, a .367 average, 8th. First batter due up, as you mentioned. It's the newest Maryland Terrapin, Antonio Morales, the starting right fielder today, steps into the left-handed batter's box to face Pauly. Home plate umpire calls it in. We're just about underway. The first pitch in this one. Morales swings through a fastball. No balls, 1 strike, 65 miles per hour at first pitch as we're off at 6:29 p.m. No balls and 1 strike to Truman Pauly. 6'2", 205 on the third base side of the rubber, the right-hander. Looks down, the left-hander in Morales. 0-1. Ball upstairs and away on Morales. Morales has been the consistent piece for Maryland, coming up for Maryland, but with Falmouth, a .333 average, making his 4th consecutive start. Only Commodore who can say that. Pauly takes a deep breath before the 1-1. Strike on the lower third of the plate. No ball, 1 ball, 2 strikes on the leadoff batter in this game, Antonio Morales, as he steps in the left-handed batter's box. Mention that commitment to head coach Matt Swope and the Maryland Terrapins. Really liking Swope's approach to hitting. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Morales, the pitch. Ball upstairs and away, makes the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Swope played at Maryland, now has become well known for his usage of motor preferences, thinking about the analytics and styles of approach at the plate that made him successful during his time at Maryland. Another breath from Pauly, the 2-2 away. This one swinging deep into right center field. Going back on his Michael Cross on the right fielder. He looks up at the wall. This one will take a bounce off the wall. Morales takes a turnaround first, turnaround second. He's heading for third. The first extra base hit of the season as Morales slides into third base. It's a leadoff triple. That's where the bats have been so far for the Commodores. We're wondering how you can get it started. How about a triple on the very first batter of the game with Antonio Morales?
Just a really good piece of hitting. Pauly leaves that just about middle in, and instead of the lefty taking it the other way, he's a little bit early on it, pulls it in the right center gap. And this is, you'll hear from a little bit later from our sideline reporter, Timmy Weiss, one of the more unique ballparks in the Cape League. It's just about 300 to either side of the field, the corners, and then 334 to center.
Justin Osterhaus in the left-handed batter's box. First pitch to him, his ball upstairs. Eldridge Park, because that was the deepest part of right center field, about 360, right in front of the wall. And the Charles F. Moore Fieldhouse and banded sand. Morales off third base. Pauly stares him down. 1-0. Ball going inside on Justin Osterhaus, now a member of the Alabama Crimson Tide, starting shortstop today. Mentioned earlier, the first extra base hit comes in game number 4 for the Commodores, on that leadoff triple by Antonio Morales. Morales now 90 feet away at third base. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Justin Osterhaus. The pitch. Ball in the outer third again. Change that. It's 3 balls, no strikes on Osterhaus. 1 gone on the top of the first. Morales off at third base, and the catcher Bear Harrison waits on deck. Slow bat over the left shoulder for Osterhaus, the 3-0. This one swinging, cracked into left center field, down for a base hit. Morales will scatter home easily from third base. It's an RBI single for Justin Osterhaus. Makes the score 1-0 Falmouth. Just 2 batters into this game, Andrew.
Similar to the RBI that Osterhaus poked out to left field in game 1 of the season against Chatham, where he got it off the end of the bat. Not really surprising for Osterhaus, a guy that batted over 320 this year, to get the green light on a 3-0, and it was a pitch right in his wheelhouse in the top right of the zone.
Commodores could not play anyone yesterday in the 6-0 loss versus Harwich. Now 2 batters in, it's a 1-0 Commodores lead. Here's Bear Harrison, the right-handed batter's box. First pitch to him will plunk him on the forward left shoulder. Harrison throws the bat hard towards the Commodores dugout, down the third base line. Osterhaus moves up to second, and on 1 pitch, Bear Harrison's off at first base. Now 2 aboard for the left fielder and John Smith.
The left fielder from South Alabama, number 41, John Smith.
Some control issues early for Truman Pauly, rising junior at Harvard. Between the first 3 pitches, all being balls to Osterhaus, then the hit batter. First pitch to John Smith is away. Ball low and away again. Osterhaus thinks about going over to third base as the ball gets away from Sebastian Pisacrati. Let's cut back there to Pauly. Pisacrati sits back down. 1 ball, no strikes. Slow bat over the right shoulder of Smith. The pitch. Swing and a miss on the outer third by Smith. 1 ball, 1 strike. No one gone in the top of the first inning. It's 1-0 Commodores after an RBI single from Justin Osterhaus. Commodores have scored 2 runs on the road so far this season, now both off Justin Osterhaus RBI singles. Look over from Pauly to second. Now turns ahead, fires the 1-1. Swing and fouled back behind home plate by Smith. 1 ball, 2 strikes. On the cleanup hitter for Falmouth today. Smith in the transfer portal after a good season at South Alabama. Still looking for his first hit on the Cape after appearing in each of the Commodores' first 3 games. 1 ball, 2 strike count to Smith. Ball upstairs on the curveball by Pauly. It just can't curve in to the zone. 2 balls, 2 strikes now. On the left fielder, Smith.
And you'll see a 5-pitch mix from Pauly tonight. That fastball, slider, curveball, changeup, and a cutter. Seeing a lot of breaking balls early on.
Smith see another one here. Counts even at 2. Look over Pauly, strikes and delivers. Swing and a miss, a strikeout for Pauly. First out of this game comes on the 4th batter he faces. Throwing that curveball, Smith goes swinging, comes up empty.
The third baseman from South Alabama, number 17, Kyle Morrison.
So from one former South Alabama Cougar to another, this one who's found his home, it's now Southern Mississippi third baseman Kyle Morrison into the left-handed batter's box. Bear Harrison at first, Justin Osterhaus at second in this 1-0 Commodores lead in the top of the first inning. Pauly with 2 runners on, delivers the first pitch. High upstairs for a ball on Morrison. 1 ball, no strikes. Now 1 gone in the top of the first inning. Mentioned it with Smith. Same case with Kyle Morrison. He's 0 for 7 so far on the Cape through 2 games. Appearances yesterday and Sunday. 2 runners on from now. A 1-0. Strike on the inner third. It's like the first time in the Wild Trevor Pauly is able to find his way into the zone. It's 1-1.
That fastball in a perfect spot in the bottom right. 94 miles per hour from the righty.
Pauly looks over to Osterhaus again. Now delivers the 1-1. A ball that goes high and away again on Morrison. Pitching around this Commodores lineup that has the worst average so far in the Cape, it seems.
They only had 5 hits entering yesterday. We're the only team with a sub-100 average entering that game against the Mariners. But again, it was the timeliness of the hit that wouldn't work out for the Doors.
Deep breath from Pauly, the 2-1. Again, ball, it's middle but outside. 3 balls, 1 strike on Kyle Morrison. Turns 21 on Thursday. A couple of Commodores' birthdays in this infield. You just saw Kent Schmidt celebrate one a few days ago, too. 3 balls, 1 strike. The pitch. Check swing by Morrison. He shakes his head and appeal over. They say he did not go. That's a 5-pitch walk to Kyle Morrison, and the bases are loaded for Commodores center fielder and the Marshall product in Micah New.
Number 3, Micah New.
Andrew Delapiano, your 4th game calling. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is the first time the Commodores have had the bases loaded all season long.
Correct.
Comes in the top of the first inning in Game 4. And before that even happens, it's Trevor Pauly who's going to come have a word with his battery mate and Sebastian Pisacrati. The whole infield will come talk to the right-hander out of Harvard and Truman Pauly. And bases loaded for the Commodores, already a 1-0 lead in the top of the first inning. And John Smith swinging strikeout, the only out on the board so far, as Justin Osterhaus is at third. Bear Harrison's at second, and now Kyle Morrison over at first. 2 consecutive free passes also awarded by Pauly, between the hit by pitch to Harrison and the 5-pitch walk to Morrison.
And similar to the point we just made about this being the bases being loaded for the first time this season. It's really all about putting pressure on the pitcher as well, making them throw you strikes where there's not a lot of margin for error if there's a walk with nobody on, and again, that's just a free pass down to first, but still, you want to put as much pressure on the pitcher and the defense as possible, and the Doors are doing that nice and early.
So Mike Anu to the right-handed batter's box, righty on righty for New. First pitch, swing and a miss for New. Outer third on the fastball by Pauly, comes in at 93 miles an hour. Mike Anu had the off day yesterday after starting each of the Commodores' first 2 games. Making his 3rd appearance in center field. It's been in the middle of the order. 1-0-1. Swing and a miss from New. Fans through the first 2 pitches, and that mound visit seems to be working for Trevor Pauly. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 gone on the top of the first inning. Bases loaded for the Commodores for the first time this season. It just took over 90 at-bats to get to this point. Waggling bat over the right shoulder. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Pauly gets another strikeout. Goes back to the well. Again, 93-mile-an-hour fastball on the outer third. Sends down the center fielder Mike Anu. Now David McCann into the left-handed batter's box with 2 gone.
And at home, you just heard 3 pitches and basically the exact same result, the exact same spot as well. We're just blowing the fastball using the outer half of the plate.
Here's the Hokie designated hitter. Left-hand batter's box. First pitch to McCann. Ball outside. Mentioned that mix for Pauly. Just get a look at the changeup there. Comes in at just 84 miles an hour outside. McCann's got 3 on the base paths for him. But can Pauly get out of this inning? The 1-0. Swing and a miss upstairs by McCann. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 gone in the top of the first inning. A 1-0 Commodores lead.
He's relying very heavy on that fastball right now.
McCann, another Commodore looking for his first hit in the Cape. His 3rd appearance of the season. Deep breath from Pauly. The 1-1. Swing and foul back out of play. This will go towards the highway that's behind Eldridge Park here. We mentioned the unique setup here in Orleans. Passing cars got to watch out if you drive past the park on the day of a game. Big moment here, all ready for Trevor Pauly. Can he leave them loaded? 1 ball, 2 strikes now to David McCann. A deep breath in, and the pitch. Foul back, just getting a piece of it. This one goes behind the catcher in Pisacrata. One ball, 2 strikes. 2 gone on top of the first. No RBI and no hit so far in the season for David McCann. Does this change right here for the Hokie, who's got 2 strikes on him? Deep breath from Pauly. The 1-2 pitch. Spiked in front of the dirt. Able to be blocked by Pisacreta, and Osterhaus will slide home from third. Each runner is able to advance 1 as Trevor Pauly taps on his chest twice to let his catcher know that that was my bad as that ball got away. 2-0 Commodores now as Osterhaus scatters home from third base. It's a 2-2 count to David McCann.
That's fastball has been his strikeout pitch. Utilized it well on Smith and Mike Anu, but utilized the curveball as well, but too much break on that one. Didn't even get to home plate by the time it got ahead.
Still just 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning, only allowing 2 runs. There's 2 in scoring position. The 2-2. Ball upstairs. The fastball tried to put him away. 94 causes Pisacreta to jump up from his couch, though, instead. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 2 gone on top of the first. The scoreboard is all lit up for David McCann in the left-handed batter's box. Morrison off of second, and Harrison off of third. Deep breath from Pauly. Kicks and deals. It's a ball inside on McCann. The bases are back to being loaded with 2 gone in the top of the first inning. It is the 3rd free pass issued for Pauly in the last 5 batters. You have those 2 strikeouts among that sequence as well, but the base is loaded now for the left-hander in Landon Morin. Moran, I should say, from left-handed batter's box again. Deep breath from Pauly. The first pitch swung on and missed by Moran. No balls, 1 strike. Still 2 gone on top of the first. This is a 2-0 Commodores lead after the Doors were shut out against the defending champion Harwich Mariners at Gov Fuller Field yesterday. The 0-1. Strike taken, similar spot, same result for Landon Moran. No balls, 2 strikes on the inner fastball. Paulie's gotten those 2 strikeouts. They've came quickly. Does he have a 3-pitch strikeout again? 0-2 to Moran is off. Spoiled back as it's fouled into the home plate netting by Moran. Still no balls, 2 strikes. 2 gone on the top of the first. Moran at first base today out of Stetson. In his second summer on the Cape after having some experience with the Orleans Firebirds last year. Slow bat above the left shoulder. No. 0-2. Tipped foul back into the catcher's mitt. Pisacreta is able to grab it down, and that will strand the runners on base. The left loaded, but the damage still done in the top of the first for the Commodores. A 2-0 lead for Falmouth. Here early on the road, we'll introduce the Commodores pitcher and defense when we return. You're listening to Falmouth Commodores baseball on Cape League TV. Commodores to get on the board from Eldridge Park in Orleans before they take that lead. Add on another in the top of the first. It's 2-0 Falmouth entering the bottom of the first inning here on Cape League TV. Alongside Andrew Delapiana, I'm Ryan Martin with the Orleans Bats. Get ready to go up. And Andrew, why don't you tell us about that starting 9 for Kelly Nicholson?
Yeah, let's meet those Firebirds. Leading off is Jaden Bastian, followed by Michael O'Shaughnessy. Michael Crossland with Sebastian Pisacreta batting 4th. Alejandro Garza in the 5 spot. Tristan Salinas batting 6th with A.B. Covarrubias at the 7th spot. DHing batting 8th is Luke Nixon. And rounding out the order batting 9th is Jonathan Mendez.
It's a lineup that looked to get at rising junior from UCF, Matt Saucer, in his first appearance of the season. First pitch to Basham. The right-hander watches the ball upstairs and away. 1 ball, no strikes to begin the bottom of the first inning. Saucer just finished up his first year at UCF after transferring from Florida State. The 1-0 from him. Strike right down Main Street for Saucer. 1 ball, 1 strike on the Firebirds' leadoff batter. And the center fielder, Jaden Basham. Likes that fastball that we just saw coming at 91 on Basham. Has a slider and curveball. He'll also try to get in from now and then. The 1-1. Swing from Basham into center field. Coming in on is Micah New. He'll lose the hat but make the catch with the tan glove. Coming in towards his left side near the right fielder in Morales. It's the first out of the bottom of the first. A line out by Basham. Speaking with Saucer preseason, as he was just doing in that first at-bat to Basham, he's really looking to land the fastball and curveball earlier in counts. Had a few pitches there on Basham. He'll have to do so here against the lefty swinging first baseman and Michael O'Shaughnessy. First pitch to O'Shaughnessy. Ball upstairs by Saucer.
Well, this past season with the Knights, utilizing that fastball very heavy, over 60% of the time. It does have a changeup in his arsenal, but only used it a couple times this season.
Typical starter for the Knights. 1-0. Ball runs inside on the lefty O'Shaughnessy. 2 balls, no strikes. 1 gone in the bottom of the first inning with this 2-0 Commodores lead. And O'Shaughnessy has been a name to watch so far in the Cape. Now the Georgia Bulldog hit the only home run that Orleans has had so far this season, the 2-0. Runs inside again on O'Shaughnessy. 3 balls, no strikes as Saucer looks to pitch around this Firebird who is on fire. Hits in every game so far this season, the only Firebird who can say that. He's got 2 of the 5 extra base hits as well this season for Orleans. 3-0. Inside for a strike. Red light for O'Shaughnessy the whole way. 3 balls and 1 strike with 1 gone already in the bottom of the first inning.
Definitely a Georgia program that is early and often in the transfer portal. The 10th different Bulldog to commit already here in the spring.
3-1. O'Shaughnessy swing over down the right side of the infield. Picked up by Moran. He'll toss it over to his pitcher in Saucer. A simple 3-1 put out. Gets Shaughnessy to sit down. Not an easy bat to get the second out in the bottom of the first inning, but Saucer does just that. So after the first 2 Falmouth batters get on board, the first 2 Orleans batters retired rather quietly, making way for right-handed right fielder and Michael Crossland. First pitch to Crossland. This ball just outside. 1 ball, no strikes from Saucer. You gotta look at the slider right there. 1-0 from the UCF product is low and away again. Similar location. Another ball thrown by Saucer. 2 balls, no strikes. To the San Diego right fielder and Michael Crossland. Crossland, a slow 10 bat. Now sees the 2-0. Strike right down the middle by Saucer. 2 balls, 1 strike. 2 gone in the bottom of the first inning. Crossland went 2 for 5 yesterday. Let's look to do it again here. 2-1. Fouled back down towards the first base line. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Saucer 1 pitch away from getting out of the first inning, retiring them in order. Saucer looks down at his pitch column on his left glove hand, staring down his battery mate in Harrison. The 2-2. Again spoiled away by Crossland down the first base line, out of play. Do it once more. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Saucer, the first pitcher used by Falmouth on the scrimmage Thursday. Not the results he wanted. 2-2. Swing and fouled over towards the first base side. This one might stay in play, but it gets just over the netting to a good crowd here on a Tuesday night in Eldridge Park. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes to University of San Diego right fielder Michael Crossland.
My favorite thing about this ballpark walking in was you see the lawn chairs that were set up and people just lining up ready to sit down for a nice ball game.
2-2 from Saucer. Ball will hit the elbow guard of Michael Crossland, so a hit by pitch. That's Crossland on board with 2 gone in the bottom of the first inning. Spoiled off a few pitchers, and it pays off for the Triton in Crossland.
Yeah, those hitters are really, really frustrating because you throw a couple breaking balls, a couple of fastballs as well, and all it really needs is you get a piece of it and you see another one, and that breaking ball just a little bit too far inside. I'm wondering if Saucer was just trying to make that, have that hitter and Crossland back off the plate a little bit.
First pitch now to Sebastian Pisacreta is off in a ball. Outside and away to the righty swinging Rising Jr. at Pittsburgh. Pisacreta's already had his name called a few times as catcher today. Been busy in that top of the first inning. 1 ball, no strikes from Matt Saucer. Runs inside and high on Pisacreta. Ball upstairs, 2 balls, no strikes. 2 gone in the bottom of the first inning. Commodores lead by 2. Pisacreta inactive yesterday. Batted cleanup on Sunday. Had himself a nice 2 for 3 day. The 2-0. Swing and a miss there by Pisacreta. 90 miles an hour on the outer fastball for Matt Saucer. 2 balls, 1 strike now for the catcher in Sebastian Pisacreta. Modest 2-step lead for Michael Crossland off of first base. Definitely more of a power bat for the Tritons at San Diego this season. The 2-1. Ball outside and upstairs on Crossland, or on Pisacreta. Now hitters count 3 balls and 1 strike. Still 2 gone in the bottom of the first inning for the catcher and Pisacreta. Look in, the Fires, the 3-1. Swing into center field. Camping under is Micah New. Gives away, and he'll put the tan glove up at the back of the warning track and pull down the third out of the inning. A bit of action on the base paths, but nothing doing for Orleans. The Firebirds can't match the run production that Falmouth got in the top of the first inning. It's no runs on no hits, no errors, and one left on base for the Firebirds. Falmouth back due up in the top of the second when we return. You're listening to Falmouth Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV. Top of the second now between the Falmouth Commodores and Orleans Firebirds in what's been a dream start so far for the Doors. A 2-0 Falmouth lead after Matt Saucer faces one above the minimum in the bottom of the first inning. Brings up 9-1-2 to face Trevor Pauly. The right-hander will start off with Carl Schmidt, the California second baseman, in second leadoff spot. Looking from Pauly, delivers home the first pitch. It's ball spiked in the dirt against Carl Schmidt. 1 ball, no strikes to begin the top of the second inning. Schmidt, the rising redshirt sophomore from California, has played all over. Does so today too. The 1-0. Strike on the outer third against Schmidt. 1 ball, 1 strike. On the Golden Bear, who's coming into the season with the Commodores, he wants the positional versatility, and he's getting so by playing in his 3rd position in 3 games. He's at second today. Looking from Pauly. The 2-1-1. Swing and miss there by Schmidt. On the outer breaking ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes to begin the top of the second inning for the Commodores and Carl Schmidt. 2-0 Falmouth lead as Antonio Morales is due up on deck. The 1-2. Fouled back towards the home plate padding. Count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. Schmidt spent his first year in the ACC with Cal after transferring in from Texas A&M. Talked a little bit about the travel and the implications that it has on the schooling too. The 1-2. Ball spiked into the dirt. That one might have even first touched the green grass in front of the dirt by home plate. That one not anywhere close for Pauly, but stopped well there by Pisacreta. 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Schmidt. Again from Pauly. Says no to 2 signs and accepts to the 3rd. Red glove at the belt. 2-2. Spin Schmidt around for a ball.
That's a really tough take from a breaking slider that starts in at the hitter, nearly gets a piece of him.
83 miles an hour makes the count run full to begin the top of the second. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Schmidt. The righty deals, swing down the right field line. Going back on it is the right fielder and Crossland, and this one will take a bounce, and Schmidt takes a turn around first. It is out of play, and it will be a double for Carl Schmidt. You can't go opposite field much better than Carl Schmidt there. The right-handed swinging second baseman barely gets it down the first base side of the foul line there, and he's on board. It was Morales who started at the top of the first with a triple, and now to start the top of the second, a double for Carl Schmidt.
We heard from Jack O'Reilly, the hitting coach for the Doors, a little bit earlier in our broadcast, and he says confidence is a huge thing with this team entering this one, and this team is swinging with a lot of confidence right now, Ryan.
Schmidt yesterday was had the first multi-hit game of the season for a Commodore, going 2 for 3. Here's Antonio Morales again. It's the left-handed batter's box. First pitch to the leadoff man. Ball upstairs and away on Morales. 1 ball, no strikes. No one gone on the top of the first inning for this 2-0 Commodores lead. Morales, who you just mentioned, had a triple to lead this game off. Came home against the very next batter with an RBI single from Justin Osterhaus. Look over from Pauly, delivers the 1-0. Swing up into the air on the left side, and this one is coming in on it is the center fielder, and it's Jordan Bastion. Right into left center field, puts the glove up and makes the catch for out number 1 in the top of the second.
Shortstop from Purdue, number 7, Justin Osterhaus.
Justin Osterhaus responsible for the first RBI, first and only RBI of this game so far. RBI single on top of the first, now back up again in the second. Carl Schmidt over at second base. Look over at second by Pauly, and fires the first pitch. Ball outside, 82 miles an hour on the curveball, can't find its way onto the outer third of the zone. 1 ball, no strikes to the Alabama shortstop and Justin Osterhaus. The most highly touted names in the transfer portal coming out of Purdue Fort Wayne. Now looks down. The 1-0. Swing from Osterhaus into center field. The beat on it, running towards the left, is Bastion again. He'll make the catch, and tagging up from second base is Carl Schmidt. The throw is going to be cut off there by the second baseman and Luke Nixon. It was a sacrifice fly for Justin Osterhaus to one of the deepest parts of the yard there in right center field. Now Carl Schmidt away with 2 gone on the top of the second inning for Bear Harrison.
And we're seeing the best contact that Falmouth has had all season long, getting good bat-to-ball contact, really making, especially Jaden Baston over there in center, make his money worth with a lot of long runs to right and center field.
Bear Harrison now into the right-handed batter's box. Bastion moves back into center field. The first pitch, Harrison swing into right center field. The right fielder, Michael Crossan, looks up, and this one will take a bounce over the wall, and this one is going to be gone. It's a home run for Bear Harrison. The first homer of the season for the Commodores comes courtesy of the catcher from Texas A&M. Bear Harrison leaves the park to right center field. 339 feet. It is 4-0 Falmouth here in the top of the second inning.
Just what a change from this Commodores offense. Putting the ball just in about every single spot in the outfield right now, including now over the fence. Utilizing a little bit of that short porch out there in right field, only about 320 feet.
Brings up John Smith, the righties. First pitch he sees, fell back over the first base line and out of play. Your trivia answer right there. Who was the first Commodore to have a home run in the 2025 season? It is Bear Harrison, rising junior at Texas A&M. 1-0, or a 1. Turns into a 1-1. Ball upstairs on Smith. For Harrison, 10 homers and 34 RBI as a sophomore in his first season at Texas A&M. Added a multi-hit game there as well, and now is the first homer for the Commodores. 1-1 to Smith. Fouled back into the home plate netting. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 gone in the top of the second inning. A 4-0 Commodores lead. The largest lead by the Commodores so far this season, now into the 4th game of the 2025 campaign. Righty down righty here with Smith. Struck out last time. 1-2. Just gets a piece of it. Tapped on the ground over to the second baseman in Nixon. Doesn't even have to move. Just fires over to first in time towards O'Shaughnessy. And that is how the top of the second inning ends. The Commodores plate 2 in the top of the first. Do the same in the top of the second to take a 4-0 lead. Here in the top of the second, it is 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and no one left on base for the Commodores. A 4-0 Doors lead over Orleans, who will now take the plate for the second time today when we return. You're listening to Falmouth Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
Authentic Cape Cod dining is right down the road at Jim's Clam Shack. Open seasonally for over 50 years, Jim's Clam Shack features oceanfront views with all of the lobster, shrimp, burgers, and clams you could ask for. Stop by Jim's Clam Shack, located at 227 Quinton Avenue right here in Falmouth, to hit your next meal out of the park. That's Jim's Clam Shack at 227 Quinton Avenue, Falmouth.
Small sample size, just 4 games in, but it's a season-high 4-run lead for the Doors. 4-0 over the Orleans Firebirds entering the bottom of the second, where it's 5-6-7. 2 up for Kelly Nicholson and Orleans against Matt Saucer, the UCF right-hander who faced 1 above the minimum in the bottom of the first. Gets started with Alejandro Garza. First pitch to him is a ball upstairs on the Cal Poly third baseman. 1 ball, no strikes to begin the bottom of the second. Saucer looks and deals the 1-0. Fouled back into the mitt of Barrett Harrison. Caught there. 1 ball, 1 strike now to begin this half inning. First Saucer was hit by pitch to Michael Crossland in that first inning. Other than that, bases cleared. The 1-1. Swing over the foul pole in right field. It'll actually bounce off a light stand by the first base netting for a foul ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It's an impressive accuracy to do that.
I don't know if Garza could have done that again if he tried. Looks in now for the righty on righty. The 1-2. Swing and again fouled back over the first base line, staying alive on this 1 ball, 2 strike count. Just got a piece of an 81-mile-an-hour changeup. And Saucer steps onto the rubber on the third base side. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ball just upstairs from Crossland. Good take there from the 5'10", 175-pound third baseman. Just outside. And the 1-2. Swing on the ground over to the shortstop, past the diving reach of Justin Osterhaus into center field for a base hit. The first base hit of the game for Orleans comes with the leadoff man in the bottom of the second. It's Alejandro Garza now off of first base with that effort.
And even too, with Osterhaus shading a little bit more towards the second base side of the shortstop position. Ball just hit a little bit too hard to reach the outstretched glove.
So Garza off of first base now. First pitch from Saucer. Swing and fouled back by the left fielder and Tristan Salinas. How about a D2 product of North Greenville? That first pitch fouled. No balls, 1 strike. No one gone in the bottom of the second inning for this 4-0 Commodores lead. It's what Falmouth fans have been waiting to hear all season long so far. 0-1. Strike on the inner third by Saucer. No balls and 2 strikes.
Started his career at South Carolina before going back to Division II, and he says a much-needed change. Batted over .340 this year.
0-2. Swing and a miss. First strikeout from Saucer. Comes on the outer third. Fastball runs up 91 miles an hour. The UCF Golden Knight has his first K. So from Salinas to Avery Covarrubias, the designated hitter today out of USC. It goes lefty swinger to righty swinger. First, a look and throw over to first base, and in plenty of time is Alejandro Garza. Tag barely planned there from the first baseman and Landon Moran. Covarrubias, a slow bat, still waiting the first pitch. It's now off from Saucer. Covarrubias swings through a first pitch. Breaking ball 81 miles an hour on the outer third. No balls, 1 strike. Covarrubias from Anaheim, California. Stayed home and playing for the Trojans at USC. 0-1. Swing and fouled back over the first base dugout. No balls and 2 strikes. Commodores 4, Firebirds 0 here with 1 gone in the bottom of the second. Orleans has just its second base runner of the day after the single from Alejandro Garza. He's at first base. Then the strikeout from Salinas. Puts up Covarrubias. He now sees the 0-2. Ball upstairs and away. Barrett Harrison has to go grab it towards the left-handed batter's box. The righty Covarrubias doesn't think anything of it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Covarrubias still looking for his first hit in the Cape. Making his 3rd appearance. He's 0 for 8 so far on the young season. Pitch down from Saucer. 1-2 is fouled into the catcher's mitt. It's a 2nd consecutive strikeout for Saucer. I was going to see if Barrett Harrison dropped that one behind the dish, but he pulls it in for the 2nd strikeout. 2nd out in this 2nd inning as well. 2 outs in the bottom of the second for Luke Nixon, second baseman out of NC State, into the lefty batter's box with Garza off of first base. Saucer looks and delivers the first pitch. It's a strike on the inner third. No balls, 1 strike for this 4-0 Commodores lead. And if Luke Nixon's name sounds familiar, it's because he's the son of Red Sox great Trot Nixon. A lot of Mass connections. The 0-1 swing over to the second baseman. And Schmidt goes off his glove and in towards right center field, where the right fielder Antonio Morales will get a glove to it and throw it back in. Should go down as a base hit there for Luke Nixon with 2 gone in the bottom of the second. Now 2 runners on for Orleans. Can the Firebirds score some 2-out runs just as Falmouth did? We'll have to see now with Jonathan Mendez, the 9-hole hitter, coming up to extend this bottom of the second. So there's 2 straight strikeouts for Saucer and gives up 2-out single for Nixon. Continues this bottom of the second. Again from Saucer to Mendez. First pitch. Strike right down Main Street by Saucer. No balls, 1 strike. 2 gone in the bottom of the second inning. Right now, if you're the Commodores, Andrew, you just want to keep the bats going and get them back on the field for Falmouth.
And Saucer has looked so good so far. His pitch mix has been impressive.
The 0-1 from him. Ball just low and away against the righty swinging Mendez. Shortstop from UC Santa Barbara. Made his first Cape appearance of the season yesterday, playing short. Went 0 for 2. Did have 2 walks, though. And the 8-2 win for Orleans over Katuitt. Swing. This one is going to be grounded over to the third baseman Morrison. Takes a couple steps in, fires over to Moran at first base to end the second inning. Firebirds have some action on the base pass, the most they've had so far in this game off a pair of singles, but not able to plate any runs and get into this Commodores leads. It's no runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left on base for the Firebirds, and a 4-0 Commodores lead over Orleans as we enter the third inning. You're listening to Falmouth Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
Whether you own a car, home, business, or investment property, it's critical you keep it secure and protected. Since 1989, our friends at Northeast Insurance Solutions have been the trusted insurance agency to serve the Commonwealth. Visit them on the web at insurewithnortheast.com or at their offices, 100 Ledgewood Place in Rockland.
I'm Adrian Lopez, an infielder from University of Southern California, and you're listening to Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
Falmouth Commodores were blanked yesterday by the defending champion Harwich Mariners 6-0, and now through 2 innings from Eldridge Park in Orleans, it's the Commodores working on a shutout of their own. 4-0 Falmouth entering the third inning, in which 5, 6, and 7 are due up for first-year field manager Jared Saltzlomakia. It all gets started against Kyle Morrison, who looks to continue the Commodores' pressure against Trevor Pauly. Falmouth has added 2 runs in each of the first 2 innings. Looks to do so the same here with the lefty swinging third baseman in Morrison. Deep breath by Pauly. First pitch is away. Fouled back out of play down the third base line by Morrison. 1 strike to begin the third inning. Commodores so far 4 runs on 4 hits. Orleans, no runs on 2 hits. The 0-1. Middle against Morrison, in for a strike. No balls, 2 strikes to the Southern Mississippi third baseman, who was up just 2 innings ago, was walked and stranded at first, or stranded at second base. 0-2, swinging into the netting down the third base line, spoiled away to continue this at bat. No balls, 2 strikes to begin the third inning. Morrison looks in. And as you mentioned, Birthday coming up and looking for a birthday present. A first Cape League hit. 0-2, swing and a miss on the curveball for Morrison. Strikeout for Pauly, 85 miles an hour. He slows that one down to third strikeout of the day for the Harvard product in Trevor Pauly. That was the third strikeout for Pauly after the fourth strikeout. The second came from Mike Anu. He's now in the right-handed batter's box. First pitch he sees a swing and a high drive into center field. Again, it's Jaden Bastion who has a beat on it, takes a few steps to his left, puts the glove up and pulls down the second out in the top of the third inning. It's a one pitch, one out for the center fielder Mike Anu. He flies out to his defensive counterpart in Jaden Bastion.
And our start to see Truman Pauly settle in a little bit more after rough first 2 innings, after allowing those 4 hits, 4 runs, retiring the first 2 batters quickly.
We'll do the same with David McCann. First pitch to McCann. Ball upstairs and away. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 gone in the top of the third inning. A 4-0 Commodores lead. The Doors' second road game of the season following 2-game homestand. Both losses for Falmouth. 1-0. McCann swings and fouls it back into the home plate netting. 1 ball, 1 strike now on the Virginia Tech catcher. Walked and was stranded at first base. He's designated hitting today, though. And Truman Pauly utilizing that deep breath, the 1-1. Strike on the outer third. And the changeup works against McCann. This one goes down to 83. One ball, 2 strikes to McCann. Ball upstairs and actually pops out of the glove of Sebastian Pisacreta. No one on base, no problem as Deuces light up the scoreboard. 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 gone. Top of the third inning now. McCann came on with 2 outs in the first inning, was able to work a walk. What does he have here? The 2-2 from Pauly. Swing and right down to home plate. Fouled off his foot. And that front-facing right foot for McCann. Little gimpy, he's going to walk it off as he takes a few steps towards the Orleans dugout. Now stops to shake it off. Will give himself a moment to take a deep breath before stepping back into the left-handed batter's box against Truman Pauly.
He's got that foot shield on his right foot, but even so, sometimes with the spin rate and the velocity that these guys hit at, it catches you off the foot. It can really hurt.
They make their Hokies tough, though. There in Blacksburg. Steps back into the left-handed batter's box. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 outs. Pauly 1 pitch away from getting out of the inning. He looks and fires. Ball upstairs. Again, pops out of the glove of Pisacreta. Count runs full for the second straight at-bat for David McCann. It's 3 balls, 2 strikes. 2 gone in the top of the third inning. Commodores up 4-0 over Orleans. Game number 4 of the Cape League season. This is the Commodores' largest lead thus far on the campaign. Full count pitch. Ball upstairs. Again, it's a full count walk worked by David McCann. It is the 3rd walk issued by Truman Pauly. And just as McCann did in the first inning, he continues the 3rd inning with a walk.
I give David McCann a lot of credit. He's really struggled in these first couple of games, and of course the rest of the team has as well. But for McCann, the patience and the discipline we've seen on these first 2 at-bats where he's battling off everything is impressive.
First pitch to Landon Moran is spiked in the dirt. 1 ball, no strikes. McCann goes back off at first base. And Moran into a 1 ball, no strike count. Commodores up 4-0, 2 gone in the top of the third inning. Slow bat for Moran, who did appear in 30 games for this Orleans team last season. He knew Eldridge Park well. What does he have here in his second at-bat? The 1-0 to Moran. Moran watches the ball that's outside. 2 balls and no strikes. In those 30 games, a .216 average with the Firebirds. Did have a single homer as well as 5 RBI. Now went from east to the west with Falmouth. The 2-0. Swing and fouled back by Moran. 2 balls, 1 strike with 2 gone in the top of the third inning. For Moran, the first baseman today, after that inning-extending walk by McCann in the first. It was Moran who struck out swing to end that first half inning. 2-1 now to the Stetson Hatter. Swing and fouled back into the home plate netting. Count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. McCann heads back to first.
And also, how about the change in approach in these hitters as well? First couple of games, they were going down 3, 4, 5 pitches, but we've seen a lot more battle, a lot more just good discipline up there where it's some really tough takes around the zone.
Working Truman Pauly, who's already getting set for the 67th pitch in this outing. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Moran. Swing into the middle infield. Over to the second baseman and Nixon. He'll just toss over to second for 1, where the shortstop Jonathan Mendez gets to the bag and ends the top of the third. McCann represents the only batter who gets on for Falmouth. Commodores played 2 runs in the first, 2 in the second, but just 4 doors come up in the third in what is a half inning for Falmouth where no runs are scored. On no hits, no errors, and 1 left on base for Falmouth. Still a 4-0 lead after that work in the first couple innings that Orleans looks to battle back from. Appreciate you listening to Falmouth Commodores Baseball. We'll be right back here on Cape League TV.
The 99 Restaurant and Pub is proud to be a sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League this summer. Visit your local 99 and try their famous colossal lobster rolls, piled high on grilled brioche and served either hot and buttered or with just the right amount of mayo and celery to go along with the fries and coleslaw. Visit your local 99 restaurant this summer today. You gotta love the Nines.
Commodores up 4-0 over Orleans. Maybe those Falmouth bats finally finding its place in the 2025 season amongst beautiful Eldridge Park, which has a special feature as we're joined alongside by the third member of our team, Timmy Weiss, for more on a special feature with this park that goes by a simple name.
Yeah, it's great to be joined alongside you, Ryan, and we're talking about the hill that is at Orleans. It is on the first base side, and you can see every single game that happens here. Fans will set up their lawn chairs, they'll grab a nice drink, they'll set up picnics out here. It is a lovely spot to watch a game, and it's also one of the most attended parks in all of Cape Cod. This is the most attendance. It averaged nearly 2,000 fans in 2023, and it's really just a really beautiful spot to watch a game run.
Thanks so much, Timmy. You see there the first pitch there from Saucer to Bastion is taken down the middle for a strike. Yeah, a lot of those chairs were laid claim way early in this one. The 0-1 to Bastion. The ball outside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Jaden Bastion, the University of Florida center fielder who lined out to begin this game. Leadoff man for 20th year field manager Kelly Nicholson. Saucer about to get off for the 1-1, but before that, it's the home plate umpire and Jeff Merzell who stops things. Look like a pitch clock. Yeah, pitch clock malfunction. The count still reads 1 ball, 1 strike to begin the bottom of the third. First pitch. There's pitch to Bastion. On the ground over to the shortstop. Osterhaus takes a bunch of steps towards his left, fires over to Moran in plenty of time to get Bastion out. Ground out to the shortstop, and Osterhaus is how the bottom of the third inning begins against Jaden Bastion in this Firebirds lineup. Bastion retired for the second straight time now. Saucer looks to do that with Michael O'Shaughnessy, the Georgia first baseman. Lefty swinging bulldog has been a tough out so far this week. First pitch from Saucer. Check swing from O'Shaughnessy. Doesn't matter. It's in the zone on the outer third. No balls, 1 strike with 1 gone in the bottom of the third inning for this 4-0 Commodores lead. O'Shaughnessy again had that solo homer yesterday for the Firebirds. 0-1. Inside on the Georgia first baseman. 1 ball, 1 strike now to Michael O'Shaughnessy. Grounded out to his defensive counterpart, Landon Moran, in the first inning. Now up again here in the third against the same pitcher and Matt Saucer. 1-1. Swing and foul back our way, right down the first base line into the netting. Barely past home plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 gone in the bottom of the third inning.
If the netting wasn't there, I think our heads would have been taken off.
That or the line drive distance might hit a car coming right behind us. Saucer's 1-2. Swing by O'Shaughnessy into left field. The beat on it is John Smith. He goes over, and this one is down for a base hit. Just barely staying foul, says the third base umpire and Mickey Garcia. And taking the turn around first and into second, standing up. It is a one-out double for Michael O'Shaughnessy to the leftmost part of the park. John Smith, looked like he had it for just a moment. Might have gotten lost there. As it stands, it's O'Shaughnessy in scoring position at second. Couldn't keep O'Shaughnessy down for long. His double represents his third extra base hit of the 6 extra base hits that Orleans has this season. It makes way for the righty Michael Crossland. First pitch to Crossland. It's a strike, middle. No balls, 1 strike with 1 gone in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Still a 4-0 Commodores lead, but that could all change if Michael Crossland is able to find some outfield grass. San Diego right fielder looks in the 0-1. Check swing. That gets a piece of the righty swing bat of Crossland and dribbles down the first base line, foul. No balls, 2 strikes now to Crossland, who was hit by a pitch, represented that lone base runner for Orleans in the bottom of the 1st. Looks in for this righty on righty. 0-2. Ball low and away, stopped there by Bear Harrison, so O'Shaughnessy can't get from 2nd to 3rd. Ball, 2 strikes now for Matt Saucer. We mentioned the 70 pitches thrown by Truman Pauly with Orleans. For Saucer, he's under 50. This is pitch 49 coming up against Michael Crossland. Look over at O'Shaughnessy at second before delivering. Swing and a miss there. A strikeout that comes against Michael Crossland. It's the 3rd punch out today for Matt Saucer. He uses that curveball to his advantage. It slows down to 81 and gets out the right fielder and Michael Crossland.
And the accuracy, too, has also been very impressive for Saucer. Only 70% of his pitches have been in the zone for strikes, so when you have that accuracy, you can utilize that curveball in the dirt.
He's yet to walk a batter yet. First pitch is fouled back off by Sebastian Pisacreta. No balls, 1 strike. 2 gone in the bottom of the 3rd, a 4-0 Falmouth lead.
And it's not like the Firebirds haven't created any offense of them. 2 hits in that last inning. You strand runners at 1st and 2nd. Also get a 1-out double here, but same thing with the Commodores offense.
0-1 to Pisacreta. Swing, chopper down the 3rd base line, off the glove of the 3rd baseman Kyle Morrison. He'll have to pick it up as the ball trickles in towards the outfield grass, and Pisacreta is over to first base. Runners on the corners now with 2 gone in the bottom of the 3rd inning, and it is the only, or one of 2 Orleans Firebirds with hits so far, coming up now in Alejandro Garza from the right-handed batter's box. See how they score that. Could certainly be a hit there for Pisacreta.
It's a hard hit ball in Morrison's direction. He just seemed to knock it down enough. I think they'll go with the hit on that one, but we'll have to wait for the official scoring.
First pitch from Saucer to Garza. It's a strike taken on the outer 3rd. No balls, 1 strike. 2 gone in the bottom of the 3rd inning for this 4-run Commodore lead. Still awaiting that official scoring confirmation on Pisacreta. Now at first, the 0-1. Another strike, middle. They will call it a fielding error by Kyle Morrison. He had 14 errors last season at South Alabama. I'm still trying to find a spot at 3rd base and commits the first error in this one. No balls, 2 strikes against Alejandro Garza. The 3rd baseman sees now the 0-2. Ball outside and away, gets past Bear Harrison. Coming from 3rd to home and is going to score is Michael O'Shaughnessy. Runners go from the corners to getting one in from 3rd base, and then going from 1st to 2nd is Pisacreta on the wild pitch for Matt Saucer. It's still a 4-1 Commodores lead in the bottom of the 3rd.
Yeah, that's a frustrating one. Between those two have really been in sync today, whether that's Saucer on the mound or Harrison behind home plate. I haven't seen too many balls get away from Bear today.
Still 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning. A 1-2 count now to Garza. Cooks and deals. Garza fouls it back out of play over the Firebirds dugout. Just past first base. Scoreboard here at Eldridge Park needs to be reset, but it should still be this 1 ball, 2 strike count with 2 gone here in the bottom of the third. Garza spoils that one off. Still has a runner in scoring position with Prisacreta at second. The 1-2. Again, fouled back, almost the exact same ball trajectory that gets past the netting and sends the kids who are on the hill that Timmy Weiss just told us about running down to track down that foul ball. Garza takes off his black batting helmet. Shakes off some sweat in his hair for a 1-2 pitch upcoming. Saucer looks in and fires. Again, fouled back off to almost the same location. They'll do it again between the right-handed pitcher, Matt Saucer, and the righty swinging third baseman, and Alejandro Garza. He just got a piece of the 82-mile-an-hour cutter.
And that was a defensive swing, if we've ever seen one. Wasn't really sure if he was going to go 100% at it, but just threw his hands at the top of the zone.
Still a 4-1 Commodores lead. Runner on second for Orleans. The 1-2 to Garza. Swing into left field. John Smith takes a few steps from his spot in left field and will pull down the line out to retire the third inning. More action on the base pass for the Firebirds. They are able to plate in the first run of the game, but it's still a 3-run Commodores lead. 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base for Orleans. Falmouth back to up in the top of the 4th inning, where it's a 4-1 Commodores lead. Falmouth finally finding its groove on offense. You're listening to Falmouth Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV. Top of the first inning here at Eldridge Park in Orleans, Massachusetts. The Firebirds hosting but trailing the Commodores. It's a 4-1 Falmouth lead after Orleans plates its first run of the game. Ryan Martin alongside Andrew Delapiana here with you on Commodores Radio Network and Cape League TV. Orleans facing this 3-run deficit now into the 4th inning. It'll be 9-1-2 due up for a new Orleans pitcher. Andrew, tell us what we should know about Ryan Oshinsky.
Yeah, you go from Ivy League guy to another Ivy League guy. Harvard to Brown. Oshinsky just wrapping up his sophomore season there. Stands in at 6'3", 175 pounds from Fairfield, Connecticut. Has a fastball, changeup, curveball, slider, cutter as well. Was one of Brown's primary relievers this season. Got a good amount of work, 27 strikeouts and over 16 innings of work. But kind of the big thing that kind of plagued him this whole season was that 6 ERA.
Got a 5-pitch mix at his disposal. You'll see the fastball, changeup, curveball, slider, and as he works from the first base side of the rubber. Slow stretch and first pitch to Carl Schmidt. Fouled back towards the home plate netting by Schmidt. This 4th inning where it's a 4-1 Commodores lead.
Let's also close the book on Pauly, where he goes 3 innings, 4 hits allowed, and 3 walks, 4 strikeouts.
0-1 to Schmidt upstairs for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And I think the impressive thing the Doors offense did in this one was get to him early, make him feel a little bit more uncomfortable in those first 2 innings, and then maybe settle down a little bit more in that 3rd.
1-1 to Schmidt. Fouled over to the home dugout again. A lot of action on that hill that Timmy Weiss was just telling us about. It's almost a natural way to cave in. And again, you mentioned those beach chairs that were there that allows fans to really pack that spot behind the Firebirds dugout. 1-2 now to Carl Schmidt. Schmidt chops it over to the third baseman in Garza. It's going to be a tough play. Fires over to first, though, and makes it happen. Alejandro Garza gets it over to Michael O'Shaughnessy on the slow bouncing chopper on the left side of the infield. It's the first out in the fourth inning.
It's a really nice play from Garza over there at third. He's playing a little bit even with the bag and the slow chopper, if you will, from Schmidt. He's a fast guy that can get down first, so you have to be really speedy in the transition from glove to hand.
Schmidt, a guy who had a double in the second inning, just the Commodores' second base hit of the season, and second of this game as well. Our third one, he had on that home run earlier from Barrett Harrison. Here's Antonio Morales. First pitch to him. Strike on that outer third. Morales will shake his head. Unsure about the call, but we'll take it here for a no ball, one strike count. One out gone in the top of the fourth inning. Again, Ryan Oshinsky, the 6'3", 175-pound right-hander, will step off the rubber. Take his right throwing hand, take a couple licks, rub it on the right pant leg, and settle again for Morales on the 0-1, and does it one more time. 2 steps off the rubber. And it is home plate umpire and Jeff Merzell who's going to call that a ball on the double step off for Oshinsky. Oshinsky on the slow wind. 1-1 to Morales upstairs. Maybe eye level for Antonio Morales, the newest Maryland Terrapin utility man, standing at just 5'9". 2 balls, 1 strike with 1 gone on top of the fourth inning. Commodores lead by 3. Oshinsky again, the 2-1. Ball by the shoelaces of the lefty swinging Morales. Now a hitter's count for the utility man, and player came in with the best average here. It's a 3-1 count to Morales. He entered this game 3 for 9 with 2 runs. Oshinsky, deep breath in the 3-1. Ball spiked into the dirt. Morales will throw the bat towards the Commodores' dugout. It's a 4-pitch walk for the new Maryland Terrapin. 1 out walk puts Morales aboard. It's free pass for Oshinsky. That was also a problem in this start today for Truman Pauly, is the free passes, whether it was the hit by pitches or the couple walks he issued.
Those begin to add up over time, especially when you get into more dangerous situations with runners in scoring position. When we talk about that accuracy a little bit early when the bases were loaded, of course, not always the end of the world with a walk, but when there's people on base, that starts to add up.
Second straight lefty here with Justin Osterhaus. First pitch to Osterhaus, spiked into the dirt, and gets away from Creta. Enough for Antonio Morales to run up from first to second, now in scoring position for Justin Osterhaus. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 gone in the top of the fourth inning. And again, Morales led this game off with a triple as the very first batter in this contest between Orleans and Falmouth. And then it was an RBI single for Justin Osterhaus that got him to score, and just 2 batters in per Falmouth. Now, similar situation with Morales off of second base in scoring position for Osterhaus, the 1-0. It's a strike right on the inner third. Fastball comes in at 94 for Ryan Oshinsky.
Right at the knees, too, perfectly placed from the righty.
Oshinsky accepts the sign. Slow bat over the left shoulder of Osterhaus, the 1-1. Osterhaus into left center field, cracks at it, and the left fielder Tristan Salinas is able to bring down the line out and send Antonio Morales back to second base. Good piece of contact for the new Alabama Crimson Tide middle infielder, but it keeps Morales at second base, now 2 gone in the top of the fourth inning.
I wonder if he'll take that over a broken bat, or should say end of the bat single that he had back in the first inning. I think he'd rather have the result than the contact, right?
2 RBI singles on the season, both broken bat loopers for Osterhaus. Here's Barrett Harrison, the righty. First pitch he sees. Big swing and barely fouled off, maybe his foot down the third base line a few steps. Barrett Harrison with a bear-like swing after he barreled the ball up on that homer in the second inning. That scored 2. So the Commodores scored their most recent 2 runs as Harrison scored in Carl Schmidt. First homer of the season and lone one thus far for the Commodores. A ball, 1 strike now. Oshinsky shakes off 2. Finally accepts from Pisacreta. Morales off of second base. Slow bat for Harrison. The 0-1. Ball spiked into the dirt again. 1 ball, 1 strike after the stop from Pisacreta. Morales just 2 stolen bases across 34 games at Wake Forest this past season. Maybe more in College Park next year. We'll see. The 1-1. Fouled down the first baseline again a few steps.
That might be a little bias coming from a Maryland guy yourself, that you want more stolen bases for your school.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. They could use them.
I'm just calling it how I see it.
Morales we saw speed in that Chatham game where he's playing right field. Morales, the only player to play in all 4 games thus far for the Commodores. See him get some of those hits for the Terps too. 1-2. Again, spiked in front of the dirt for Harrison. Morales thinks about showing off that speed for a second, but Pisacreta keeps it in front of him, so Morales heads back to second. 2 balls, 2 strikes now with 2 gone in the top of the 4th. Commodores up 4-1.
Pisacreta has seen a lot of work behind home plate today. A couple balls getting behind him, but he's dropped down to his knees for a lot of breaking balls to keep in that chest protector.
Oshinsky takes a look at Morales, now fires the 2-2. Morrison fouls it on Chopper down the third base line. Keeps the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. This was the same situation for Harrison in the second inning. Runner on second base. With 2 gone in the inning, he sent a homer to right center field. Does he do it again now? 2-2 with 2 gone is off. Harrison on the ground towards the shortstop in Mendez. Fires over to first base and gets him without too much trouble. Morales gets into scoring position at second base, but the Commodores leave another one on. It's no runs on no hits, no errors, and 1 left on base for Falmouth, who's still up 4-1 over Orleans. Firebirds bats due back up in the bottom of the 4th, where you'll hear us talk next. You're listening to Falmouth Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV. Commodores bats started to go quiet here now into the bottom of the 4th inning, but thanks to some early inning runs, the Commodores still up 4-1 over the Orleans Firebirds here from Eldridge Park in Orleans, Massachusetts. Alongside Andrew Delapiana, I'm Ryan Martin here on Cape League TV, where it's still Matt Saucer onto the mound for his 4th inning of work with Falmouth. 6, 7, and 8 due up to face him. It starts with the lefty Tristan Salinas, who looks to bounce back from a strikeout to this Matt Saucer. Lefty swings Salinas, first pitch he sees. Check swing, quick look over at third base umpire Mickey Garcia says he does not go around. A ball to begin the bottom of the 4th inning with the left fielder in Salinas. 1-0 for Salinas is 89-mile-an-hour cutter down in the inner third of the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike from the UCF righty and Matt Saucer. Here's the 1-1. Lined into right field, down for a base hit. Antonio Morales gets over to it. Doesn't have to really move too much from his spot there in right field, as he was shading towards the left side anyways, before that leadoff single comes from Tristan Salinas. For the 2nd time today, it's the leadoff hitter aboard for Orleans, this time via the Salinas single.
Just a really good piece of hitting there where you can tell he's expecting that fastball, waits for the breaking ball in the back part of his swing, and then just ropes it to right.
Over 100 miles per hour off the bat as Saucer takes a look over at first base, fires over, but there's no real action there as Salinas slides back in safely. Still 4-1 Commodores. Action at first, though. A big lead from Salinas as Saucer just threw over. First pitch from Saucer is fouled back over the first base dugout by Avery Corvarubias. USC designated hitter also struck out in the second inning. That was part of the back-to-back strikeout combo for Matt Saucer. After that strikeout, though, Salinas responds with a single. What is Corvarubias' response now? The 0-1 from Saucer. Swing down into left center field for a base hit. Over to it is the left fielder and John Smith. He throws it back in. So, just as we mentioned, those two strikeouts in the middle of the order for Salinas and Corvarubias turn into two singles for batters 6 and 7. 2-on to begin the bottom of the fourth inning for Orleans. Now a quick talk at the mound for Matt Saucer, and the entire infield will come have a discussion after those back-to-back singles given up for Saucer.
Yeah, it's not pitching coach Todd Carroll out there, but assistant coach Bo McMillan.
Shouldn't be any real discussion of Saucer coming out of this one. There's no real action either in the Commodores' bullpen down past left center field, past the big Eldridge Park scoreboard.
First time we've seen Bo come out for a mound visit this season as well.
Yeah, just a quick discussion. Couldn't have been more than, 20, 25 seconds on
If
the mound
that.
there with Saucer. Still 2-on now for the lefty and Luke Nixon. First pitch to Nixon. It was middle for a strike. No balls, 1 strike. No gone in the bottom of the fourth inning for this 4-1 Commodores lead. Nixon singled in the second. Looks to do so again here. 0-1 is fouled off home plate. No balls and 2 strikes now to the NC State second baseman and Luke Nixon. You ever remember his older dad, Trot Nixon, playing for the Red Sox, or too young?
We're both Sox fans.
Yeah.
I mean, we were born around that same year that they won the championship in 04.
I remember more of the highlights, more YouTube clips than actually seeing.
Oh, no.
No? 0-2. This is fouled down the first baseline. Take a few hops before hitting the fence past the Firebirds dugout.
All I know is that he was a huge fan favorite when he was here. And
I remember
Firebirds broadcaster Jim Sokolsky said, he's here right now.
Is he?
Trot is here. Just got to find him now.
Supporting his youngest son, Luke Nixon, second baseman, for 0-2. Ball just on the outer corner for Matt Saucer. Slows down on the changeup, 78 miles an hour.
You have a favorite player from that 04 championship team?
Ortiz was on that team.
Yeah.
So then I grew up an Ortiz fan, seeing that too. 1-2 for Nixon is, again, fouled down the first baseline. I've heard a lot of stories with Nixon, especially in Pawtucket. He was a fan favorite there at McCoy Stadium.
Yep.
The old, on some of those rehab assignments and going up through the Paw Sox. 1-2 now. 1-2 now though to his younger son and Luke Nixon. Ball outside again from Saucer. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I think mine would be Dave Roberts. Had the famous stolen
steal.
base in Game 4 against Rivera.
You were months old though, if that at the time.
My mom woke me up to see them win the World Series in October.
You see it on YouTube after the fact, right? 2-2 to Nixon. It's a ball outside. Count runs full between second baseman Luke Nixon and the righty Matt Saucer on this lefty on righty matchup. Salinas at second. Corvarubias at first. Here's the payoff pitch. Fouled down, or this one's going to be on the ground towards the third baseman, Morrison. It just stays inside of the foul line. Morrison throws out Nixon over at first base, but does the job. The first out in the bottom of the fourth inning moves up Salinas to third base and Corvarubias up to second.
It's hard to describe what actually just happened there on that swing
looked like
from Nixon, where
destined
it
for foul
hit him
territory.
on the inner half of the bat, but it didn't spin outwards before the third baseline. Somehow stayed in the grass there, trotting towards Morrison down the third base side. And Surprised enough, he had enough to get to first in time as well.
Luke Nixon trotting towards the third base line.
No,
Pun intended.
that
No,
was not
even.
intended at all.
That's just talent. That's got to be talent, right? Now stepping in is the righty, Jonathan Mendez, the shortstop. First pitch he sees is on the ground over to the first baseman. Moran goes off his right foot, but Carl Schmidt gets it. The second baseman throws over to the pitcher and Saucer covering and gets him in time. Go from one funky play to another. A run will score for Orleans, though, as it is Covarrubias who advances from second to third base. Salinas comes home from third to score. This is a 4-2 Commodores lead. Andrew, they're keeping us on our toes here in those last two at-bats.
That was a tremendous effort there from Matt Saucer. It just jumps over the glove of Moran, but to have the mindfulness to cover first base, already a play that belongs to Moran in general, that's some good stuff there over at the mound from the pitcher.
Just your simple 3-4-1 ground out, as now first-year field manager Jared Saltalamacchio will come and speak with Matt Saucer. There is some action in the bullpen. It looks like they're going to open up that door in left center field. We got a new arm coming up, as it is 4-2 Commodores, 2 gone in the bottom of the fourth inning. A new pitcher for Falmouth will introduce who Jackson Vanesco is, the righty who is coming in for his first appearance with the Commodores. You're listening to Falmouth Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV. Massachusetts, this matchup between the Firebirds and the Commodores, game number 4 of the Cape League season. Ryan Martin alongside Andrew Delapiana here. And Andrew, coming into this 4th game of the season for Falmouth, there was 3 pitchers who had yet to be used. One of them is seen as the starter with Matt Saucer, and one of them is now with the left-hander Jackson Vanesco. What should we know about the Bryant Southpaw?
Yeah, the redshirt senior from beautiful Smithfield, Rhode Island, to Ocean City, New Jersey. Was a guy that had Tommy John surgery a season ago, and he returned, and he was a versatile weapon for the Bulldogs out of the bullpen. A 6.3 record, did have 6 starts in 15 appearances at a sub-3 ERA, but the most important stat that we really want to bring up was how he did in America East games, where he went 4-0, a sub-2 ERA in those conference games, and a sub-1 whip as well. And again, one of the 3 arms we have yet to see yet from this Falmouth bullpen.
The only one remaining now is a fellow Southpaw and Jack Berg, who's in the transfer portal. Maybe he'd be the next one out of that bullpen. Has left center field way out there here in Orleans. It's top of the lineup that he'll have to face with this 2-run Falmouth lead. It gets started with Jaden Bastian, the newest Florida Gator, who's 0 for 2 so far today. First pitch received from Vanesco is a ball outside on the righty swinging Bastian. Lined out to his defensive counterpart, Micah New, in center field in the first, and then grounded out to the shortstop, Osterhaus. Vanesco with that 4-pitch mix. You see the fastball right there. The 1-0. Ball in the outer third again. Similar pitch, same result for Vanesco. 2 balls, no strikes. 2 gone in the bottom of the 4th inning. Got to remember, it's still Covarrubias off of third base, 90 feet away from making this a 1-run game. The 2-0 from Vanesco. It's a ball 82 miles an hour, just slowing away on Bastian.
And with Vanesco, he doesn't throw very hard as well either. That fastball will only run up into the high 80s, change up low 80s, so you're not going to see him blow by a lot of guys.
Got to find it anywhere in the zone. The 3-0 Make it a 4-pitch walk on Jaden Bastion. Just at chin level for the Florida Gator. A 4-pitch walk to get his Falmouth Commodores tenure started. Jackson Vanesco now sees runners on the corners against Michael O'Shaughnessy. Had that big double an inning ago. So Avery Covarrubias, the designated hitter, is at third. Jaden Bastion now at first for the lefty first baseman in Michael O'Shaughnessy. That double by O'Shaughnessy. 1 of 4 hits today for Orleans, only for extra bases. He's got half of the Firebirds' extra base hits so far this season. Look and throw over from Vanesco to the first baseman in Moran. But Jaden Bastion for Orleans in there with not much throw, not a real effort from Vanesco either.
I'm interested to see if the Firebirds take a page out of the book of the Whitecaps, the first and third.
First pitch to O'Shaughnessy. Strike right in the top left-hand corner of the box. No balls, 1 strike. 2 gone in the 4th inning. First pitch we see from Vanesco after the 4-pitch walk to the first batter he faces in Bastion. 4-2 Commodores lead. That could change the 1 swing of the bat from Michael O'Shaughnessy. The pitch is into right center field, down for a base hit. Covarrubias easily scores from third. It's going to be Bastion who advances over to second. This is a 1-run game on the RBI single by Michael O'Shaughnessy. His second hit of the game makes it 4-3 Commodores with 2 gone in the bottom of the 4th inning. Thought for a second, Andrew, it was Carl Schmidt, the second baseman, who would have had a leaping effort, but instead it just gets over the outstretched left glove arm of Carl Schmidt, finds some outfield grass, and now runners at first and second. Michael Crossland, the righty, facing the lefty Vanesco. Vanesco looking all around, delivers home the first pitch. Strike middle against the San Diego right fielder in Crossland. 0 for 1 so far today. Was hit in the first inning and stranded at first. And strikeout swinging an inning ago. No balls, 1 strike for what is now a 4-3 Commodores lead. The pitch. Ball inside and upstairs on Michael Crossland. 1 ball, 1 strike. Big leads for both runners. Bastion at second and O'Shaughnessy at first. The pitch is fouled. Down the first base line, will get over the net. It will. Make another fans' day here at Eldridge Park. Good crowd on hand in Orleans as that fog starts to come in off the water. You can see around the lights over here. It's starting to get a bit more cloudy here in Orleans. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 gone in the bottom of the 4th inning. Vanesco 1 pitch away from getting out of it. The 1-2. So ball just misses low and away. 82 miles an hour. You mentioned that fastball that he has won't get up too high. Around about 81 to 85. Two gone, and 2 runners on. The pitch from Vanesco is pieced at by Crossland. And down, caught in left field by John Smith. So 2 Firebirds left stranded again as a nice piece of hitting. Just unable to drop in by Crossland. And it's going to be again stranded here for Orleans. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left on base for the Firebirds. They do score that 1 run. That makes an important 1-run game. The Commodores scored the first 4 runs in this game. Orleans has scored the last 3. 4-3 Falmouth. And then you're listening to Falmouth Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
Authentic Cape Cod dining is right down the road at Jim's Clam Shack. Open seasonally for over 50 years, Jim's Clam Shack features oceanfront views with all of the lobster, shrimp, burgers, and clams you could ask for. Stop by Jim's Clam Shack, located at 227 Quinton Avenue right here in Falmouth, to hit your next meal out of the park. That's Jim's Clam Shack at 227 Quinton Avenue, Falmouth.
4-0 Commodores lead here at Eldridge Park in Orleans, Massachusetts has quickly turned into a one-run Falmouth lead. 4-3 Falmouth over Orleans after the Firebirds score 3 unanswered. Now in the top of the 5th inning, it's Falmouth who looks to plate its first run since the 2nd. Heart of the order due up 4, 5, and 6. It gets started with the left fielder and John Smith after his defensive put up. First pitch to Smith. It's ball upstairs on the breaking ball, 86 miles an hour out of the right hand of Ryan Oshinsky, the rising junior from Brown. Smith, righty, sees the 1-0. It's going to be fouled off the catcher in Pisacreta. 1 ball, 1 strike to begin this 5th inning, and what's now a 1-run Commodores lead. Smith so far today a strikeout in the 1st and then a ground out to 2nd to end the 2nd inning. Now sees himself a 1-1 count. The pitch. Strike on the curveball that finds the outer third at 79 miles an hour. 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Smith in the transfer portal after starring for South Alabama. Slow tan bat over his right shoulder as Oshinsky does the long wind. The 1-2 upstairs as Smith has to duck his head out of the way from the right-handed batter's box. Count runs 2 balls and 2 strikes. It's that long wind for the reliever. Oshinsky does it again on the 2-2. Skied up into the air on the right side. Foul territory. It's their first baseman, Michael O'Shaughnessy, who looks up but just gets over the netting. Right at the base of the hill, where, again, it's a scatter for it with the children here at Eldridge Park. John Smith III so far this year, now 0 for 8, does have a run and a walk with the Commodores, making his 4th appearance, one of 2 Commodores to play in all 4 games. 2 balls, 2 strikes. On the ground on the left side of the infield, but goes foul right before reaching past the third base bag. Count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the leadoff man here in the 5th inning. Some action past the third base bag, so both Oshinsky, the pitcher, and Smith, the hitter, step out now, back on the rubber and in the box respectively. 2 ball, 2 strike pitch. Swing and a miss on a low curveball, 82 miles an hour. Gets Smith to strike out for the 2nd time. And for Oshinsky, it's the first strikeout in this relief appearance with Orleans.
The third baseman from South Alabama, number 17, Kyle Morrison.
After the strikeout for John Smith, here's lefty Kyle Morrison. 0 for 1 so far today. He also struck out in the 3rd inning and was walked in the 1st. First pitch to Morrison. Fouled towards the Orleans Firebirds press box. Right behind home plate. No balls, 1 strike. 1 gone in the top of the 5th inning. A 4-3 Commodores lead. Falmouth scores the first 4 runs in this game. All of a sudden, it's been 3 straight for Orleans. A 1 to Morrison. Ball outside, breaking ball, can't curve in. Just 80 miles an hour from Oshinsky. Oshinsky breathes deep and delivers the 1-1. Swing up into the air on the left side. Foul territory, but playable and caught down there by the third baseman, Alejandro Garza. That one came out of the Eldridge Park lights in a hurry, but in foul territory, Garza pulls down the 2nd out in the top of the 5th. So 2 gone on the top of the 5th. Mike Anu, center fielder out of Marshall and Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Does he have the first hit in this game against the righty and Ryan Oshinsky? Oshinsky's deep breath delivers the first pitch. New. Skies it into center field. Amongst the lights, it's the center fielder and Jaden Bashan, who sits under it, puts up the glove, and pulls down the final out in the top of the 5th. Retired in order go the Falmouth Commodores. A quick top of the 5th makes way for the bottom of the 5th, where Orleans now has an opportunity to take its first lead in this game. It's no runs on no hits, no errors, and no one left on base. Doesn't get much simpler than that to look. Andrew Delapiano will have the play-by-play with you in the bottom of the 5th inning as you're listening to Falmouth Commodores Baseball. The Doors up 4-3 here over Orleans on Cape League TV.
Whether you own a car, home, business, or investment property, it's critical you keep it secure and protected. Since 1989, our friends at Northeast Insurance Solutions have been the trusted insurance agency to serve the Commonwealth. Visit them on the web at insurewithnortheast.com or at their offices, 100 Ledgewood Place in Rockland.
Back to Eldridge Park here in Orleans, Massachusetts. Game 4 of the Cape Cod Baseball League season between the Doors and the Firebirds. Falmouth in front 4-3 as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Back alongside Ryan Martin, I'm Andrew Delapiano. Heart of the order is due up for Orleans. 4, 5, 6, starting with Sebastian Pisacreta from the right side against the lefty Jackson Vanesco, who's on for his second inning on the job. Pisacreta digs in and awaits the first pitch from the lefty. It's low below the knees for ball 1. Pisacreta reaching on his last time up thanks to an error over at third base by Kyle Morrison. Part of a one-run third for the Birds. The 0-1 is outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Pisacreta was a big bat in the Pittsburgh Panthers lineup this season, especially coming on late in the season. 3 of his 8 home runs coming in the month of May. Vanesco's 2-0. Upstairs above the letters this time, 3-0. He's gone down, up, and around. Commodores started this game with a 4-0 lead after 1.5 innings. The Doors have let the Firebirds creep back. The 3-0 is right down Maitri. Take all the way from Pisacreta. 3 balls, 1 strike. The leadoff man in the bottom of the 5th. Falmouth leads 4-3. Pisacreta waits the 3-1. Here it is. Pops it up first base side, but slicing foul over the hill. Vanesco has worked it back full. Making his first appearance of the summer for the Doors after a sub-3 ERA in the spring with the Bryant Bulldogs. The payoff pitch is belted deep into right center field. Running back on it is New towards the gap. He has a beat on it, and he makes the grab for out number 1. Allowed out number 1 to begin the bottom of the 5th for Orleans.
The first batters have given Vanesco a bit of trouble. He mentioned the 4-pitch walk he had to begin this outing. That was some great contact in the right center field, as you mentioned. Like a New able to get it right before the 359 side and right center field, and that loud contact is avoided by the Commodores.
1 gone for the righty Alejandro Garza. It's first offering. Goes after it and punches it foul first base side over home plate. Garza 1 for 2 in tonight's contest. A single back in the 2nd before lining out to left. Comes across the country, originally from Bakersfield, California. The 0-1 is an off-speed pitch, a good-looking pitch from Vanesco. Drops right in the middle of the zone at 76 miles per hour on the changeup. Garza was first-team All-Big West this season, leading the Mustangs in hits and runs. The 0-2 stays alive, gets it off the end of the bat, and punches it behind home plate once more. Back in 2024, he was the Big West Freshman of the Year and the 3rd toughest batter to strike out in Division I. Breaking ball is not in there, and he stays alive once more. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Only had 10 Ks his freshman year. 1-2. Swing and a miss, fooled on the changeup Ball dropped, and Harrison just has to tag him. Instead, fires it down to first base. 2 up, 2 gone for Vanesco in the bottom of the 5th. Commodores in front 4-3 in the bottom of the 5th. We'll get a pinch hitter here for Orleans. It's number 23, Jordan Taylor from the right side. Pinch hits for Tristan Salinas, the left fielder. So long tenured coach for Orleans, and Coach Nicholson decides to go into his bench already in the 5th inning. Taylor, a rising senior at Stetson, making his 3rd appearance of the season. First action since Sunday. He went 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts against YD. He waits the first one from Vanesco. Here it is. It's a breaking ball, beautifully dropped in on the curveball. Started in at the letters and then ends up right at his chest. Vanesco from the first base side of the bump. Turns and fires. Goes back to the fastball. Sent to the left side of the infield. Tough play in the backhand for Osterhaus to fire it over to first. Not in time. Well beaten out by Taylor. And he's got an infield single as the pinch hitter with 2 gone.
Just a good piece of hitting, cold off the bench for Jordan Taylor. The Stetson Hatter gets a piece of it on the left side. That would have been a really tough play from Osterhaus. Good speed as well from Taylor. So by the time it even got over to Moran at first base, he wasn't even on the bag. He just grabbed it over to make sure that nothing crazy happened as Taylor's now off first base.
That sets the table for the righty Avery Covarrubias, the rising junior from the University of Southern California. This favors his matchup with the lefty Vanesco on the bump. Takes a look at the runner on first and will fire over. And he's back in safely. Some serious speed over at first base from Taylor. 22 stolen bases this past season with Stetson. First offering, he takes off. It's a called strike. The throw down to second, way too tall for Osterhaus, but a nice backup there by Carl Schmidt. But nevertheless, that's the reason you put Justin Taylor on the base pass for those stolen base occurrences.
Yeah, and that one was way over by Harrison. I think that one even got over the glove of Schmidt past Osterhaus, and it was the center fielder, Mike Anu, the 2nd or 3rd backup, who gives it back to Schmidt. Maybe a little deke there from Osterhaus as well to make sure that Taylor stays on second.
That last pitch was a strike. The count 0-1 to Covarrubias. Jackson a look over at second. The pitch is inside for ball 1. Covarrubias 1 for 2 in tonight's ball game. A single back in the 4th, part of a 2-run frame for the Birds. They've cut that 4-run deficit that they had back in the 2nd just down to 1 now. The 1-1 is belted deep center field. New has a beat on it. Couple steps back, and he makes the grab for out number 3. Firebirds get a runner on second thanks to the stolen base. It's 1 hit, no runs, no errors with the 1 left on base. We go to the 6th. Commodores still in front 4-3. We'll be right back on Cape League TV. Stay with us. Park in Orleans, Massachusetts. Back with Ryan Martin. I'm Andrew Del Piana. Thanks for sticking with us on Cape League TV. The Doors in front, 4-3 through 5. And the Firebirds counter with a new arm on the bump. It's the lefty, number 4, Roman Tazi, the rising senior from the Catholic University of America. The transfer from Arizona State from Pennsylvania. Scheduled to face 7, 8, 9 of the Falmouth lineup. Tazi, a solid sophomore season, sub-5 ERA, a 6.3 record. After not getting much playing time in his freshman year with the Sun Devils. First to meet him is a fellow lefty. It's David McCann, who has 2 walks entering his 3rd at-bat of the night. First offering from Tazi. McCann pops it up and tails over our heads down the third base side and just past the third base side of South Orleans Street.
So I'm talking about that. South Orleans Street can be dangerous, barely getting into the trees. That car passing truck was going maybe 25 miles an hour, could have had its windshield going.
The 0-1. The breaking ball, McCann all over it and jolts it into center field. That's going to drop in for a base hit. In the first hit of the season for David McCann, who's been all over the baseball today. But a pair of walks, now is 1 for 6 on the season. It's a leadoff single.
And his 3rd appearance of the season, McCann was without even getting on to first base in either of those first 2 appearances. So he gets those 2 hard-earned full-count walks and finally puts a barrel to ball and gets one just into center field for a base hit.
That's the first hit for the Doors since the 2-run home run by Harrison. First pitch to Landon Moran, lefty on lefty, is called for a strike. Moran 0 for 2 with a strikeout back in the first, fielder's choice to end the 3rd frame. The 0-1 is a fastball taken outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. You touched on a little bit earlier, Ryan, the return for Moran, though, to Orleans, where spent 30 games, one of a dozen Stetson players to play in the Cape last season, including Isaiah Barquette for Falmouth. 1-1, another breaking ball, and a half-hearted swing by Moran went around. He was really fooled on that one.
And what was really interesting to hear when we were talking about Moran of how many Hatters were here, he was speaking on how many incoming Hatters were in the Cape last season, and it made getting down to Florida even that much easier, knowing each other already a little bit more.
He said Delray Beach there, a nice small community that cares a lot about baseball, the 1-2. Below the knees, 2 balls, 2 strikes. He said he liked having that comfortability of that being a baseball town to let you thrive a little bit more with a nice little fan base down there in beautiful Florida. 2-2 from Tazi. Breaking ball is yanked to right field. Moran got all this one, and it is out of here. Landon Moran, a 2-run shot to right field. How about 2 on the night for the Doors? Falmouth back in front by 3. It's 6-3 Doors in the top of the 6th.
Well, Andrew, you had wondered where the bats were for Falmouth across the first 3 games of the season. It might be right here at Eldridge Park in Orleans. The first 2 homers of the season, and on that swing from Moran, also the Commodores up to a season-high 6 hits and a season-high 6 runs.
Take on the first pitch from Carl Schmidt from the right side after another 2-run shot. How about this? Both Bear Harrison and Landon Moran both going .339 on those home runs. The 1-0. Schmidt taking a big hack at that one. Swings right through the fastball.
Identical distances, and we talked about it a lot in our preseason roster previews. These catchers can be special under first-year field manager Jared Zaltz-Lamakia, who knows a little thing about catching and swinging a bat.
1-1. Breaking ball. Smith pokes it out first base side and foul. Of course, under the tutelage of Jared Zaltz-Lamakia. 12 years in Major League Baseball. A World Series champion back in 2013. It's pretty good to have a guy learn from him, right?
I think he's a decent guy to learn from. We were talking about Trot Nixon earlier. Don't remember Trot a lot. Definitely remember Salty when he was with the Sox.
1-2. Smith gets another piece of it and puts it back to the screen. A huge sigh of relief, though, Ryan, in this Commodores offense that was really struggling for the last couple of innings, and then a nice jolt of energy from Moran to belt it over the right field wall. Another 1-2 from the lefty. Another tough take from Schmidt on the other batter's box. 2 balls, 2 strikes from the lefty, Roman Tazi. It's 6-3 Commodores in the top of the 6th. Nobody on base and nobody out. Here's the 2-2. Way up and in for Schmidt. Has to turn his back to it and has worked the count full.
There's been a couple times today where Carl Schmidt has turned that lead left shoulder just to get out of the way of a pitch. Has not been hit yet, but doing a good job avoiding so.
Antonio Morales waits on deck, the leadoff man. Schmidt 1 for 2 in today's game with a double. Payoff pitch. Yanked into left field. If it's fair, it's gone. And it is foul. Just barely. The Doors bullpen believes it's gone. Schmidt takes a long look around home plate.
And that Doors bullpen, Andrew's got the best view of maybe anyone here in the park there on left center field to make the call on that one. And at the end, it was the third base umpire and Mickey Garcia who calls it a foul.
Another payoff pitch. It's a breaking ball outside for ball 4. So Carl Schmidt almost had a home run. He's got a walk instead.
And you almost never see that. There's close calls on balls and strikes, or if it's fair or foul on a chopper down the first or third base line. But on those home run calls, you really, it's usually more cut and dry than that. But anyways, it's going to be Carl Schmidt who's on first base with a walk.
And Kelly Nicholson going out to take the ball from Raman Tazi, and we will get a new Firebird on the bump after a short break. Commodores leading 6-3 thanks to a 2-run home run by Landon Moran. We'll be back on the other side. You're listening to Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV. Falmouth in front 6-3 in the top of the 6th. New pitcher on the bump for Orleans. We welcome in the third member of our crew, Timmy Weiss. You just got confirmation there from the bullpen in left field that Carl Schmidt foul home run, if you will, in air quotes. You talked to the boys. What do they have to say?
Well, it was very interesting because you saw the home run, what you thought was a home run, but it ended up not being called a home run. And then, sorry, I apologize. I'm a little out of breath. I was just running down to talk with the players there, and they told me that it was at least 5 feet in play.
Wow.
And that the umps totally messed that one up. But here we are in Falmouth. No home run.
Well, that's some good investigative journalism there from Timmy Weiss. As the new pitcher on the bump for the Firebirds is the left-hander Lucas Littoral, the rising senior from Western Kentucky. Stands in at 6'5", 180 pounds, a transfer from Rand Lake College, a small JUCO school in Kentucky. First to meet him is Antonio Morales, the lefty, with a runner on first and Schmidt. The first pitch, Morales squares to bunt, pulls it back. It's inside for ball 1. Morales already his 4th time up as we're just into the 6th inning, and after Falmouth put up a goose egg just last night, really firing on all cylinders. The 1-0, Morales squares once more, pulls it back with this one called a strike. Catches the outside corner. For Littoral, his numbers this season. This is his 2nd appearance. Got the win in the 10th inning in relief. At a 7.27 ERA this past spring. His 1-1 is dropped outside on the changeup. 2 balls, 1 strike. Features a two-seam fastball, that changeup we just heard, and a slider. Both of his parents in the medical field, something he wishes to join after his college days are done. 2-1. Morales chopped on the ground, first base foul.
You go back to how Literal was the winning pitcher in that 5-4 win. How about some opening day fireworks here at Eldridge Park, where Orleans pulled off that 10th inning win against Katuitt 5-4.
Really special victory. They were down 4-3 in the ninth with runners at second and third. There was a short chopper to shortstop. Player threw it away. Both runs came in to score, and the Birds picked up a win. The pitch. Morales fooled for just a moment, but gets it off the end of the bat to stay alive.
It's Kettler's team that already knows this Orleans Firebirds team very well. Through the first 3 games of the season, it was Orleans versus Katuitt twice, including last night in that 8-2 win for Orleans. Orleans has 2 wins on the season through 3 games, both against Katuitt.
Count remains at 2-2 to number 2 with a runner on first. Lefty on lefty. Here's the pitch. Drops below the knees, blocked in front of home plate. Originally now gets away from the catcher. And that allows the Smith to scurry up to second base on the wild pitch. So far for the Commodores, 6 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors. For the Firebirds, 3 runs, also on 6 hits, but no miscues in the field. Runner on second, nobody gone in the top of the 6th. Morales, the count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. The payoff pitch is outside for ball 4. How about some head up running from Schmidt as well as he takes third. Isagrita was maybe in his own head there, wasn't sure about a ball 4 call. He dropped it, and some good heads-up base running there by Schmidt.
Yeah, we talked about it already, and this is the second time that Literal has been on the mound, but still that battery-mate connection is not always there between starting pitchers and starting catchers. The ball just bounced out on the pitch that led to a walk, as now it's Pisacreta, who looks to be quarterbacking something from in front of home plate.
It's that first and third play where if that runner goes, what to do in that situation. Brewster executed to perfection against Falmouth a couple of nights ago where there was 2 outs, runner at first and third. That runner from first takes off, gets in a rundown, allows that runner from third to score. Runners at the corners, lefty on lefty. Morales does take off. The throw goes down to second. No advance from Schmidt, but the ball gets away. And that allows Falmouth to come in and score. It's a stolen base for Morales. Schmidt crosses home plate, and the Doors extend that lead once more up to 4, 7-3.
Perfect recognition and response from Carl Schmidt. Watches that whole the way. He knew he wasn't going anywhere from third, but once it gets away from the second base bag, Schmidt doesn't think twice and takes off for home.
Couple of miscues in the field for Orleans, and credit to Falmouth taking full advantage. Runner at second, 7-3 now in the 6th. The pitch. Osterhaus held up on the breaking ball, checked down to third. Third base umpire and Mickey Garcia says he did not go around. 2 balls and no strikes to Justin Osterhaus. Looking to add on to this lead with Morales standing at second. He's been on base all 3 times tonight, as now he's dancing over at the second base bag. 2-0. Slider inside, 3 balls, no strikes. Not a great start on the mound for Lateral. His walk numbers were just about equal with those strikeouts of 19 and 25 respectively. The pitch. Take all the way from Osterhaus, and it is low in the zone for ball 4. A lot of free passes from the Birds pitching staff tonight. That is number 7. Commodores continue to make some moves on the base pass. Runners at first and second, nobody gone top 6. Falmouth leading Orleans 7-3. Bear Harrison steps in from the right side against the lefty. First pitch, he goes after and fooled on the changeup, swung right through it. Harrison takes a deep breath, readjusts his helmet, takes a look at the end of the bat, and digs back in. Literal takes a look over at second. Kicks and deals. Goes to the breaking ball, drops just below home plate, and a take from Harrison. 1 ball, 1 strike. Harrison belting a 2-run home run back in the second to put the Doors up 4-0. And after Orleans crept back in it, the Commodores offense has reignited the spark. Next pitch is another breaking ball low. 2 balls and 1 strike to the righty from the southpaw. Bear Harrison gets that nickname from climbing trees at his brother's games when he was just a kid, and everyone around him just started calling him that. And of course, his now older brother Kyle, a member of the Red Sox after the Devers trade. 2-1 is low and inside. 3 balls, 1 strike, a hitter's count.
I had the opportunity to talk with Bear yesterday after the news broke the day before about his brother. Really interesting that they haven't seen each other in over a year. Has actually had a chance to call older brother Kyle, but surely he'd be able to get up to his games in Boston or Worcester or vice versa, and Kyle come down here.
3-1. Harrison wanted all of it, instead fouls it back to the screen. He said he has talked to his parents about the trade, but has not talked to Kyle just yet about that move. Of course, we were in the middle of our broadcast when Rafael Devers made that shocking trade across Major League Baseball. Now remains 3-2 to Bear Harrison. The pitch. Harrison yanks it deep left field. Back goes the left fielder. All he could do is look up. It's gone! 2 home runs in 1 night for Bear Harrison. He is bringing out the claws. A 3-run shot to left field, and the Doors are blowing it open. 10-3 in the 6th.
Similar spot to left field. That one, no doubt fair and no doubt well gone. Goes 330 feet off the bat of Bear Harrison behind the bullpen for the Commodores.
Smith follows that up, goes after the first one, and punches it to right field for a base hit. Oh my, where has this Commodores offense come from? As it has been a hit parade in this one for Falmouth.
It's now 8 hits for the Commodores, and remember, across those first 2 games at Chatham and versus Brewster, Commodores go 1-1 in those games, but combined for 5 hits across those first 2 games. Now all of a sudden, 7 here today.
It's a 6th run 6 for Falmouth. Still nobody out. A runner on first. Doors leading 10-3. Lefty on lefty with Kyle Morrison. The pitch. Inside, nearly clips Morrison.
Remember, the story coming into this inning was how the Firebirds had come back, Andrew, and made this a 1-run game. Falmouth played 2 runs on top of the first, top of the second, but then across the third and fourth, it was the Firebirds who scored 3 unanswered runs.
1-0. Jam shot from Morrison. Fouls at third base side, hits the netting.
Certainly there is now an answer. Commodores playing 6 so far in this top of the 6th inning, and exactly, I think that's a question that all of Doors Nation should be asking of where was this across the first 3 games in that 1-2 record?
Well, maybe a quick conversation with Jack O'Reilly. The hitting coach was all it needed. 1 ball and 1 strike to Morrison. The offering from the southpaw is a breaking ball inside. 2 balls, 1 strike.
And especially with those first 3 games, you look at what Falmouth was doing offensively. There's no sign of power. So you got Bear Harrison, Landon Moran, and a lot of these hits, too, are powerful shots into the outfield, and we just hadn't seen that across the first 3 games.
2-1 on the way. Morrison cranks it towards center field, drops in for a base hit. Gonna roll all the way to the wall. Long turn from second by Smith. Gets the hold up at third. Morrison up to second. It's a double for Kyle Morrison, and the hit parade continues for the Commodores.
Another good piece of hitting. This time it's Kyle Morrison who barrels it up there for his first hit as a Commodore as well this season. After starting 0-9, Morrison gets his first hit. I was surprised that the center fielder there, Jaden Basham, was shaded towards his right against the lefty swinging Morrison, but for Morrison, it now puts him on second, puts 2 runners on. Still no one got on top of the 6th.
Still nobody gone as we've reached the 9-hitter in this inning in Micah New. Lefty on righty. First pitch. Up and away for ball one. Easy take from the Marshall Thundering Herd. Smith, the runner, on third. Morrison on second. Doors in front 10-3 in the top of the sixth. The 1-0. New takes it, and it clips the outer half of the zone. 1 ball, 1 strike. It has not been a fun frame for Lucas Littoral. 3 earned runs so far. The 1-1. Outside, 2 balls, 1 strike. That being off of 3 hits, also 2 free passes in this inning. One coming to Osterhaus and Schmidt. And a pair of home runs. One coming from Moran and then Harrison. The pitch. New spoils it off the end of the bat. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 ducks on the pond for the Doors, looking to add even more to this lead in what's already been a fun 6th inning for Falmouth. 2-2. Way outside. Pisciacrita has to reach over to the other's batter's box to even make the catch. New digs back in, readjusts the helmet with a bright right bat up above the right shoulder. 3-2. Take all the way, and it's below the knees for ball 4. Third walk of the frame for Littoral, and this one's starting to get away from him. And Falmouth and their coaching staff know it.
You gotta wonder how short this leash would be for Littoral. Again, you mentioned it. He still has yet to record an out across those 3 hits. 3 runs all earned, given up. There is another left-hander in the bullpen, and it could be the next guy out in California's Ethan Foley coming for the Birds.
Well, it's just a meeting of the infield right now. Callie Nicholson not the one out there to talk to Littoral. It looks like the southpaw number 38 will stay in the ball game. After what's so far been a fun 6th inning for Falmouth, the bases are loaded now. Still nobody gone, and we're back to the guy that started it all in David McCann.
Arguably, there's been more action in this half inning alone than we really saw out of the Commodores through the first 3 games, especially that 2-game homestand.
And it looks like Jared Saltamacchia going to make a change as Chris Newstrom struts out of the dugout. Why not get everyone in on the party?
Keep the good times rolling, get everyone involved.
So it's just a DH for DH swap, with Chris Newstrom replacing David McCann, who finishes with a single to start off this whole party. Also had 2 walks as well, as Newstrom replaces him at the designated hitter spot. Newstrom, the rising sophomore from Tennessee, 6'2", 205 pounds, 0 for 6 this summer. Got to start the last 2 games. First pitch from Littoral. Newstrom takes it right down the main street for a strike. Talked to him plenty before yesterday's game about his approach and what needs to change, and that adjustment to the wooden bat said takes about a week and a half. The 0-1 drops below the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike. He said it's all about, as Coach O'Reilly alluded to him, is having that confidence in the batter's box and really being as disciplined a hitter as you can be. The 1-0. Way up and out. 2-0. And Newstrom giving a little advice to the batter's box, to the on-deck spot for Landon Moran, who's already belted a 2-run home run off him early this inning. I'm not sure what he needs to tell him that he doesn't already know. The pitch. Newstrom half thought about it, but check swing, and it's ball 3. Top 6, Doors leading 10-3. Bases are still juiced. Smith at third, Morrison at second, New at first. Newstrom really looking to break this one open if it isn't already. 3-0, swings through the fastball. That swing he wanted all of. Aim at 86 miles per hour out of the southpaw's hand. Who's still looking to record his first out of this inning after allowing 3 hits, 3 earned runs, and 3 walks. 3-1. Bouncer in the dirt, blocked, but it doesn't matter. It's ball 4, and a run comes in to score. So bat has turned from ugly for Orleans. 7 across in the frame for Falmouth, and it's 11-3 Commodores.
How about a 9th walk issued as well to Falmouth batters? These free passes just can't happen for Orleans Firebirds team that's been known for their pitching over the last couple of years.
Here's Landon Moran, the lefty. First pitch, goes after it, and pops it up, tailing foul out of play. Moran, a 2-run shot to right field earlier in this inning. The 0-1. Just catches the inside corner for strike 2. He didn't like the call at it. Gave a little shake of his head back to the dugout. Litteral stands on the first base side of the bump. He's 0-2. Bouncer in the dirt. Blocked by the catcher. Still nobody gone in the 6th. Bases remain juiced. Falmouth 11, Orleans 3. Doors looking to get back to 2-2 on the young season. 1-2. Fouled third base side. Nearly hits the light post just above us.
Solid piece by Moran to stay alive in this count. Remember, there's still no one gone on the top of the 6th inning, and a half inning which Falmouth bats around for the first time this season.
Another 1-2 on the way. Breaking ball inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Really can't understate how Falmouth has really not had an offensive production like this so far in the season's first 4 games.
And how about the patience at the plate as well? Very disciplined with the 9 walks. 2-2. Moran on the ground, first base side, but hooking foul. He'll stay alive. That breaking ball below his knees, but he went and got it. Only at 74 miles per hour from Litteral. Count still 2-2 to Moran. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball sent on the ground, first base side. Tough play for O'Shaughnessy. Flip over to first with a pitcher lateral covering, and it's out number 1. But the Doors get another one across. 3 RBIs tonight for Moran as Smith scores. And it is 12-3 Falmouth with 1 gone in the 6th.
Second baseman from UC Berkeley, number 8, Carl Schmidt.
Righty on lefty for Carl Schmidt. Digs in. Runners at 2nd and 3rd. Litterall's first offering. The fastball just inside. Schmidt walked back earlier this inning, I should say, not even earlier tonight. 1-0. Bouncer gets away from the catcher, but a lucky Carachet, or I should say, from Pisacreta, just in front of him, doesn't allow any advancement.
And for Pisacreta, that ball trickled down the third base line, so Mike New was facing Pisacreta right there. I wonder if that goes down the first base line, if we see New being a little bit more aggressive from third.
The 2-0. Taken for a strike. Micah New at 3rd. Newstrom at 2nd. The pitch. Another block pitch in the dirt. Pisacreta's had a lot of work cut out for him tonight. He's been down on his knees a whole lot, blocking some serious breaking balls. 3-1 count with 1 out. Runners at 2nd and 3rd. Falmouth leads 12-3 in the top of the 6th. The pitch. Smith fooled on the changeup, swings right through it. And it's 3 balls, 2 strikes, but hold on just a moment. Kelly Nicholson emerges from the Orleans dugout. And we are going to get a change on the bump for the Firebirds. Well, it was not a solid outing by any stretch of the imagination for Litteral. His day is done with the Commodores. A really impressive 6th inning. that is still going on. We'll find out who the new wing is on the bump for the Firebirds, with Falmouth leading 12-3 in the top of the 6th. We'll be right back here on Cape League TV. Against the Firebirds. That's what the 6th inning has been for Falmouth. With the Doors in front 12-3 in the top of the 6th. Already 8 across in this frame for the Doors. And Orleans tries to counter with a new pitcher on the bump. Ryan, who is the new arm out there for the Birds?
Yeah, it's another. This one will be a right-hander after the left-hander, and literally didn't have the outing he wanted. It's Ethan Foley, rising junior out of California, standing at 6'3", 215. You can see him on the first base side of the rubber as he gets the pitches warmed up. He is making his second appearance of this season. He was part of that 4-0 shutout loss at YD on Sunday through a single scoreless, hitless inning against the Red Sox there and picked up 2 strikeouts.
Runners at second and third. Micah New at third. Christian Newstrom at second. Carl Schmidt digs back in the righty in the middle of a 3-2 at bat with Little, and he was removed after 45 pitches right on the dot. The first pitch. Smith on the ground, left side, corralled by Garza. Goes the long way to first. The play can't be made. It's in and out of O'Shaughnessy's glove. The runner is safe at first. Micah New comes in to score. A 10-run lead for Falmouth.
Love 2 parts of that play if you are a Falmouth fan or Falmouth coaches. First of all, over at second base, Chris Newstrom perfectly timed his run from second to third until when that was thrown over, so he knew he'd be there at third. And then for the batter there, and what Carl Schmidt was able to do, really able to run that one out and get there even with O'Shaughnessy dropping it.
Top of the lineup for Antonio Morales. Righty on lefty. The pitch is a called strike on the outer third. Ethan Foley, the rising junior from California. Storybrooke season as he just faced his teammate, Carl Schmidt, in a last pitch. The 1-0. Take right at the letters from Morales. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Isn't that closer role for the Golden Bears this past season? Pitched the final 2 innings in Cal's opening round ACC tournament win. Not really a safe situation here, though.
In that last play, they're going to call it an E5 against Garza. That allowed Schmidt to reach. The 0-2. Morales fights it off. A defensive swing on the inner half. (13-3) Commodores, top 6. Still only 1 gone. Runners at first and third. Another 0-2 to Morales. This is a breaking ball. He lofts it into left field. Chalinas has a beat on it. He makes the catch. Runner tags from third. Going to be a close play. Relay throw home, and they got him. A dart out in left field by Tristan Salinas. It's a double play to end the frame, but the serious damage is done. Falmouth plots across 9 runs in the top of the 6th and take a commanding 13-3 lead into the bottom half of the inning. We'll take another break here on Cape League TV and be right back after these messages.
Authentic Cape Cod dining is right down the road at Jim's Clam Shack. Open seasonally for over 50 years, Jim's Clam Shack features oceanfront views with all of the lobster, shrimp, burgers, and clams you could ask for. Stop by Jim's Clam Shack, located at 227 Quinton Avenue right here in Falmouth, to hit your next meal out of the park. That's Jim's Clam Shack at 227 Quinton Avenue, Falmouth.
As we go to the bottom of the sixth, Falmouth leading 13-3 over Orleans. Welcome back to Cape League TV alongside Ryan Martin. I'm Andrew Della Piana. We both looked at each other and said, how is Jackson Vanesco still out there? He was probably sitting on the bench for about 45 minutes before coming back out.
Probably the big smile on his face, just like every Commodores fan has right now, too.
His first pitch to Nixon. He goes after and pops it up into right field. Morales, couple shades over to his left, plots underneath it, and makes the grab. One up and one gone.
And for Vanesco, who again has had trouble with the first batter he's faced in the first two innings that he came out to pitch, how about inducing a one-pitch flyout to right field to get the bottom of the sixth going?
So far for Vanesco through 1 2/3, he's allowed just 2 hits, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. After a solid start for Matt Stosser, going 3 2/3 with 4 hits and 2 earned runs, 3 strikeouts. In his first appearance of the summer, first pitch to the righty in the form of Jonathan Mendez is taken for a ball. Mendez with an RBI ground out back in the fourth, what feels like forever ago. And that was the last run for Orleans. The pitch. Mendez takes it below the knees. 2 balls and no strikes. Ryan, I don't think we can harp on enough the resurgence of this Falmouth offense, not even in just this game alone, but especially in that 6th inning where they set the tone early and really have just ran away with it since. The pitch is up and away. 3 balls, no strikes.
Looks like some kind of error or computer malfunction, but yeah, it's 9-run top of the 6th inning.
That is not a malfunction, my friend. That is the correct number.
9 runs on 5 hits. Helped out with a few free passes from Firebirds pitchers. Falmouth taking what it's given.
3-0. Mendez take all the way. It's right down Main Street. 3 balls, 1 strike. Mendez 0 for 2 in tonight's ball game. A rising junior from UC Santa Barbara, always known for their March Madness runs in the NCAA tournament. The pitch popped up foul, first base side, slicing, could be out of play, and it hits the netting along the first base line.
And we finish off talking about this Commodores bat resurgence, or first surgence if you call it. Remember, first 3 games of the season, Commodores 1 and 2 with 4 combined runs, and then you have 9 in that top of the 6th alone.
Plenty of extra base hits for the Commodores in this one after they had, I can count on my fingers, 0 in the first 3 games. The 3-2 pitch to Mendez, roped left field side over the outstretched gloves of Osterhaus, who took a good stab on it on his right, but a hard hit single with 1 gone in the 6th. It only came off the bat at 75 miles per hour, but it looked a lot faster than that.
Both middle infielders for Falmouth, between second baseman Carl Schmidt and shortstop and Justin Osterhaus, have had an opportunity to end up on SportsCenter's top 10 plays tomorrow morning, but that one just out the leaping, diving, outstretched arm of Osterhaus at short.
1 out, 1 gone. The runner on first. Back to the top of the lineup. First offering to Bastion outside. Number 8 playing in the number 8 spot on your lineup card out there in center field. Vanesco takes a look over at first. And the pitch is a bouncer in the dirt, but Harrison gets his glove to it. 2 balls, no strikes. Bastian, the transfer from Jacksonville, joining the Florida Gators in the fall. Really a 5-tool talent, and people are saying he could start right away with the Gators. And 11 home runs, 36 stolen bases. Also an everyday starter in center as well. The pitch popped up, foul back over the press box.
For Bastian, you got that settled away right before the Cape League season started. Announced that commitment to Florida this past Saturday on the Cape League's opening day.
And a guy he'll compete with in the outfield is the name Blake Sear.
I think that rings a bell
familiar?
from just yesterday, huh?
A 2-run home run in the 9th against the Doors. The next pitch outside.
Check that call 2 days ago against Brewster. As part of that inning, remember Falmouth was leading entering the top of the 9th. You think, oh, the Commodores start 2-0, but then Blake Sire and the Brewster Whitecaps hit in their last half inning of batting.
Those two will now be teammates. The 3-1, way upstairs, it's ball 4. After retiring the first batter of the frame, the next 2 have reached thanks to a single and base on balls. Here's Michael O'Shaughnessy, lefty on lefty. The runner on scoring position for the Birds. Michael O'Shaughnessy transferring out from Davidson, joining the Georgia Bulldogs. Announcing that commitment nice and early on opening day. It's 2 presents in 1. First pitch is a nice breaking ball from Vanesco. Drops right in with the 12-6 curve. He was unbelievable this season for Davidson. Set a school record with 70 RBIs and a 23-game hit streak, just 1 shy of the school record with the Cats. 0-1 from Vanesco. Goes to the fastball, and a check swing doesn't matter. It's in there for strike 2.
Vanesco froze him with that one. Home plate umpire Jeff Merzel didn't even have to go look down at third base umpire Mickey Garcia to see if he went. Well done from the mound by Vanesco.
Runners at first and second. 1 gone, bottom 6. Falmouth leading 13-3. The pitch, breaking ball. O'Shaughnessy just got a piece of it. Sends it back to the wall. So far for Falmouth, 13 runs on 9 hits, 2 errors. For Orleans, 3 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors. And of course, that 6th inning with the 9th spot, staring Falmouth right in the face right now. The next pitch, just outside.
You look around the league as well and what's happened over the last 4 days. 13 runs by the Commodores in this game. Andrew, the most in a single game so far by any Cape League team this season, besting the 9 runs that Chatham put up in its win last night.
For a team that barely was batting over 100 entering today. Another 0-2 on the way. Roped foul first base side. They'll do it again.
And remember, a 114 average coming into today across those first 3 games.
Those scores around the league. Harwich currently in front 6-0 over Katuitt after 8. In Chatham, the Anglers a 5-4 advantage over the Harbor Hawks in the top of the 6th. Brewster, they're 4-0 after beating the Bourne Braves 4-3. Wareham gets its first win of the season 3-2. Next pitch is a breaking ball way outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
How about those games?
How about those Whitecaps at 4-0?
I was just about to say. First time I want to say since 2015.
It's been a long time. I mean, they were 1-0. Over 500 for the first time since 2023 at the start of the season. 2-2 pitch is catching the inside corner, called strike 3. Vanesco freezes O'Shaughnessy right on the black with an 82-mile-per-hour curveball for out number 2.
Vanesco's really settled in now to this appearance. You'll have to see if you're a Commodores fan. And there he'll pick up his 2nd strikeout.
2 gone with a runner on first and second for Michael Crossland from the right side. First pitch. Fastball catches the inside half.
That was a good Brewster team we saw at the home opener, though, in Falmouth on Sunday. They've got that home field advantage at White House Field when it gets dark so early. 2 games, 2 wins for the Whitecaps at White House Field. Both have been called early.
Interesting stuff. Big hack and a miss from Crossland at the changeup. No balls and 2 strikes.
Gotta hit that summer solstice so you get a little bit more light there in Brewster. We'll see.
They won't complain if they're winning games in 8 innings.
Right.
They'll take it. 0-2 from Vanesco. Crossland ropes it deep center field. Going to be a tough play for New. Back at the track, back at the wall, and he makes the grab. Oh my, if it's not 334 out there, I believe that one clears the fences. But it doesn't matter as Orleans gets held to nothing in the bottom of the 6th. No runs, 1 hit, no errors with 2 left on base for the Firebirds. We are through 2/3 of this game, and it is all doors here in Orleans. 13-3 Falmouth as we go to the 7th after a short break on Cape League TV.
Antonio Morales, outfield/utility from Maryland University, and you're listening to Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
Top 7th from Eldridge Park, all doors in this one, 13-3. As we welcome you back to Orleans, Massachusetts. We welcome in the 3rd member of our crew, Timmy Weiss. And Timmy, we just saw in that last half inning, Michael Crossland, he drilled a ball out to center field, but it was a little bit shy of what he would have intended to out there in dead center. It's a long way out there.
Yeah, Eldridge Park is very weird in that it's not your typical ballpark that you're going to play at. It is 434 to center field, 300 to left field on the other hand, and 314 to the right field corner. There's really not many players that have hit it all the way out to the center field spot at 434. It is said that Frank Thomas was one of the only players, an MLB legend, that was able to do it.
Yeah, Frank Thomas, who was here back in 1980 with the Firebirds, of course, belting over 500 home runs in his major league career. We start the 7th. Justin Osterhaus takes a first pitch strike from the right-hander Ethan Foley. Best way to describe it here is an inverse polo grounds, where it's short and then deep in center field. The 0-1. Osterhaus off the end of the bat, squirts it foul, third base side and out of the ballpark. And the funny thing, too, Timmy and Ryan, is that this place used to be a soccer field out in center field, so that's why those dimensions are like that. 0-2, it's inside, or, ooh, I thought so. And that is a called strike 3, and Justin Osterhaus is looking around saying, how? Either way, there's one gone.
Finish off that discussion with Eldridge Park. That's what part of makes the Cape that allure and that's so unique about the Cape Cod Baseball League. These high school fields are fields that have just been here forever. You know, Gov Fuller Field, home to the Falmouth High School Clippers as well, their baseball team there locally.
Well, Eldridge Park is a beauty. First pitch to Bear Harrison, takes for a strike. Built just 1 year after Fenway in 1913. It's been here ever since. And a real shout out to the grounds crew here. They take tremendous care of this field.
Beautiful.
The 0-1. Harrison slightly choppered on the ground to the shortstop. Mendez vacuums it up and throws it over. Out number 2.
That one there was simple 6-3 put out, but it has not been easy, of course, to get Bear Harrison out today after a home run, a 3-run homer in the 6th, a 2-run homer, solo homer in the 2nd. One last little stat for you, too, Andrew. Bear Harrison becoming the first Cape League player to have a multi-homer game this season.
First pitch taken by John Smith, the righty on righty. Well, of course, only 4 games in, not a huge sample size, but still a nice accomplishment to have early on the season. 1-0. Slider way outside. 2 balls, no strikes.
Also the first Cape League player to have multiple home runs, period. First one to 2 is Bear Harrison.
Foley takes a long look in. His 2-0 to Smith. The fastball blows it right by him for strike one, coming in at 92 miles per hour. Nickname of this ballpark is Miss Eldridge for its beauty. 2-1. Nice looking fastball. Catches the outer half of the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Smith. We are in the top of the 7th. Falmouth leading 13-3. Nobody on and 2 outs. The 2-2. Smith on the ground right side. Mixon corrals and puts it over to first. It's 1-2-3 for Orleans after allowing 9 runs in the top of the 6th. Not too many problems this time around. It's time to stretch here at Miss Eldridge with Falmouth in front 13-3 over Orleans. We'll stretch too and get right back to baseball here on Cape League TV. I'm Andrew Delapiana. Jack Berg, the lefty, gets the ball for the first time for Falmouth this summer. Scheduled to meet 5, 6, and 7. The first pitch is a called strike against Sebastian Pisacreta, the catcher, who's been in that squat position for a long time tonight, especially after a 9-run sixth for Falmouth. Jack Berg, I think we're going to nickname him Mr. Analytics because how much he loves this kind of stuff. Stands in at 6'4", 200 pounds. Currently in the transfer portal. Is 0-1. Swing and a miss.
Self-proclaimed nerd for everything that he likes to use. He's talking about some of his favorite metrics with everything. And someone who really values the way you can use the analytics to your advantage is the southpaw.
Currently looking for a new home in the portal. He features 2 different kind of fastballs. He calls it a 4-seam fastball, the one he likes to call a flat hatter, as well as a sinker. Is 0-2. Popped up sky high, playable for the first baseman, Moran. Just a shade in foul territory. Comes back in, and he makes the grab for out number 1. And with this being a 10-run lead, I believe, again, not confirming, but I believe we might have a mercy rule in play. I might have just had the perfect broadcaster's jinx there, though. 1 gone, nobody out for Alejandro Garza. First pitch. Foul, first base side and out.
So we've talked with Assistant General Manager in his first year, Nick Carlson, who's been tremendous and a big supporter of the Falmouth Commodores broadcasting this season. His word is that 2 field managers between Jared Saltzlamakia and Kelly Nicholson have to agree on this mercy after 7 to stop burning the arms and such.
Interesting. Berg's 0-1. Good looking pitch, just catches the outer half. Change up in at 82 miles per hour. Alejandro Garza, 1 for 3 in the ballgame with a single back in the second, strikeout in the fifth. Berg takes a long look in, kicks and deals. Swing and a miss from Taylor. And that is strike number 3 for out number 2. Two gone for Jordan Taylor, who's in the game at left field. He replaced Tristan Salinas back in the fifth. Made that beautiful throw from left field to gun down Chris Newstrom a couple innings ago. Two gone, nobody out, as Berg off to a quick 2 outs. First pitch on the ground, right side. Schmidt originally had it, bobbles it, puts it over, not in time. Taylor beats it out. Don't think Schmidt looked it in the entire way. And that should go down as an error against the Commodores' second baseman. Another change in the lineup for Orleans as well. Chris Barr, the right-hander off the bench, the rising senior from Army West Point. He will pinch it for Abry Carubius. First pitch from Berg is a called strike. Barr from Sarasota, Florida, for an Army program that just missed out on the NCAA tournament. They got swept by Holy Cross, who eventually won the Patriot League. The pitch is a breaking ball that Barr cranks into left field. Back goes the left fielder in Smith, and this ball is out of here. Off the bench and on the board. A 2-run home run for Chris Barr. And that 10-roll rule might not come into play. A 2-run shot to left field, 3:25 off the bat. Doors lead 13-5.
All of a sudden, that Commodores bullpen is becoming an unfortunate foursome on a golf course where there's fours all over the bullpen. And you saw the last 2 home runs were no doubters to that part of left center field.
So the Birds do get 2 back to inject a little bit of life back into this ballpark, where it has emptied out most of it at least. As some raindrops now start to come down. First pitch to Nixon, called strike. Bases cleared with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. Doors leading 13-5. The 0-1, high chopper on the ground left side. Osterhaus grabs it with the glove and puts it over to first for out number 3. We are through 7 between Falmouth and Orleans, and it looks like we're just going to keep rolling on, and that is the case as the Firebirds take the field once more. Another quick break here on Cape League TV. Don't go anywhere. More baseball on the other side. Top of the 8th, Doors in front of the Birds, 13-5. Back alongside Ryan Martin. I'm Andrew Delpiana here from Eldridge Park, and I want to start this inning with a personal apology. I brought up the mercy rule, the 10 runs. Home run had to be hit. Got some smirks at me. Said, Andrew, what are you doing? You know the rules about the Jenks, and I clearly did not follow them, so I just want to personally apologize to you and our amazing staff.
Well, thank you so much. I think it's awfully generous of you to offer that apology. Again, this is the 5th pitcher used by the Orleans Firebirds, and it's still an 8-run Orleans lead, or Orleans deficit, I should say. The Commodores up 13-5 here. So, a mercy rule in the 7th would make sense. Looks like we'll get all 9 here tonight, though, from Eldridge.
Kyle Morrison, the first one to dig in the 8th, and take all the way with a ball inside. For Morrison, a double back in the 6th, part of a 9-run frame. Pops it up over the netting. Comes towards our way, but way out of reach of us. A 1-1. Morrison, another jam shot first base side, and Karam's off the light, comes back into play. How about twice in one night for you?
Wow. Between that and a 9-run top of the 6th for the Commodores.
It's been a good night.
I was going to say.
Doesn't get better than this.
A couple things that make you say, wow, that really happened?
1-2. Morrison barely stays alive off the end of the bat.
Like, light post there near right field, light post behind the Commodores dugout down the third baseline. It's like, are you sure about that?
Are you sure about that?
Yeah. Can that really happen? Are you sure?
Ethan Foley from the right side, his 1-2. He's gone on strikes. One gone in the top of the 8th.
Deficit is what it is, but a really good pitch by Foley to confuse Morrison there. And went fishing on the low inside pitch and came up a strikeout for Foley.
Mike Anu digs in from the right side. He's had a fun afternoon as well. A couple of base on balls. Foley starts him out with a strike right down the heart of the plate. Anu's got this beautiful big red bat. 0-1. Swing and a miss, wave through the changeup in the dirt. Nothing in 2.
He's prideful about that bat as well. We were talking with him about it at batting practice. It's no martial color. It's nothing.
No, it's nice to show off. He doesn't like that color red. It's very bright. 0-2. Slider outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Top 8, Doors leading 13-5 over the Firebirds. 2 gone, and nobody on. The pitch. New puts a jolt in this one to deep right field. All Crossland can do is watch it fly out of here. 3rd home run of the night for the Doors, and it comes thanks to number 3. Mike Anu, a solo shot to right field. You get a home run, you get a home run, you get a home run. Doors extend the lead, 14-5.
That one hung up there for a while, but goes 335 feet off the bat of Mike Anu. Makes this a 9-run Commodores lead once more.
Well, if this isn't a hitter's ballpark, I don't really know what is. Newstrom, hard cut and a miss at the first one from the right side. As Foley pumps the 94-mile-per-hour fastball by him. The 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. My favorite thing about Chris Newstrom is he's always giving back tendencies of the pitcher to the guy on deck. The 1-1 from Foley. Newstrom jam shot. It plops over the pitcher's head, lands down. Going to be a tough play over at third, and he throws it away. Garza came running in after it looped over the pitcher's head in Foley. And it's a wide throw. Thought Newstrom could have been safe either way. See how they rule it.
Impressive to get a bounce like that on the grass with the baseball bat. A pitching wedge, a little more of that shot, just a looper, in which it barely gets off the infield grass off the second hit, off the dirt.
Looked like some of the drives you were hitting on the links today. Yeah. Just a slow little blooper that goes about 15 yards.
Gets where it needs to.
Not really. One out, one on. Here's Landon Moran, goes after the first one and powers it to left center field. This one is in the gap, gonna roll all the way to the fence. Newstrom hard on his horse. The relay throw to home from left is in time. And oh my, Chris Newstrom is getting tossed. He slammed in the catcher. And Jared Soltomaki, the manager, out for a word with first base umpire Michael Rubido, who made that call as Newstrom slammed into the catcher in Pisacreta. Pisacreta didn't go down. He stood his ground, but Coach Soltomaki is still having a word here, but Chris Newstrom has been tossed from this game. My goodness.
An interesting plan, an interesting call, and a 9-run game as well.
How about that throw from short as well by Mendez, the cutoff guy, to even bring that to home and make that a play?
You remember it was Chris Newstrom as well who was doubled up on the fly out by Antonio Morales to left field to end the sixth inning, the huge sixth inning. So Newstrom tries his luck again, and this time the collision warrants an ejection.
Either way, the runner on second with 2 outs. First pitch to Carl Schmidt is a strike. But Chris Newstrom tossed from this game for dangerous act. In a 9-run ball game in the 8th. The 0-1 to Schmidt, waved on and missed at the slider. Really fooled on that one. And all he can do is look back at the dugout and crack a smile. Takes a deep breath, digs back in with his right foot on the back of the box. Foley, his 0-2. Waved on and missed once more, a slider in the dirt. Throw down to first on the drop third is in time. For the Commodores, it's an interesting inning because there's 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base, and 1 ejection as well. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Falmouth 14, Orleans 5. We'll be right back after these messages on Cape League TV. Bottom 8, Commodores 14, Firebirds 5. Back alongside my good partner Ryan Martin. I'm Andrew Del Piana. It's been all Falmouth since that 9-run 6th inning. How about that last half inning? That just had about it all. We had a home run from Mike Anu, an ejection from Chris Newstrom. I don't know what else is next for this one to be one of the best baseball games of all time.
I said it's one of those baseball games, the checklist game, where you come in, you're just saying,
I think it's the bingo card is what you're looking for. Yeah,
exactly. Seen a little bit of everything here. 3-run homer.
We've seen home runs go the same distance.
Game. Yeah. The light post.
Close post being hit twice. I mean, the list goes on and on. Are you sure about that? Yes, I'm very sure. Jack Berg, the lefty, back out there for another inning on the job, scheduled to face 9, 1, and 2 of the Orleans lineup, starting with Jonathan Mendez from the right side. First pitch. Up and away, ball 1. Go back to our conversation a little bit earlier about Jack Berg and the analytics. When we asked that question to him about what stat or what number he likes most, his face lit up because he loves talking about it so much.
You would have thought it's a kid on Christmas, genuinely.
Is 1-0. Punch foul behind home plate.
a bit of a quieter young man as well, and someone who getting comfortable being in this new setting. And you mentioned that, and that's exactly what he's ready to talk about like he's an expert.
Checks down at his wrist where his glove is placed on the right side. Likes a sign from Harrison. Kicks and deals. Up and away once more. 2 balls, 1 strike.
You know what Jack Berg's a big fan of?
What?
Commodores Analytics, which now has its own X page, @Doors Analytics. If you
go check that out if you are very much like Jack Berg in the sense of you like learning about numbers, that is the perfect page for you. The pitch, called strike at the letters. It was so good even Mendez gave a nice little head nod and said, nice pitch over there, 14.
Using those analytics, Brennan Driscoll, Jordan Pessin have done a great job so far this season. The Commodores dugout tracking and using that side of baseball that really separates the 21st century game.
Berg's 2-1. Mendez, foul first base side. And of course, whenever you go back to data analytics, you go back to what has been the StatCast era of baseball. Of course, it's well known by the Oakland Athletics, or formerly the Oakland Athletics, by Billy Bean. And Berg, a long look in. Another 2-2. Mendoza shoots it foul. Oh, my. Nearly ended up in the Orleans dugout. Everyone looks to be all right. Mendez 1 for 3 in the ball game. An RBI back in the 4th, single in the 6th. Bottom 8, nobody on for the leadoff hitter in Mendez. Doors in front, 14-5. Another 2-2 is outside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Get another check on our league scores as Harwich has gone final against Katuitt. The Mariners go to 3-1. Brewster got that victory earlier, 4-3 in 8 innings over Bourne. And Chatham clinging to a 6-4 lead over Hyannis in the bottom of the 7th. The 3-2 to Mendez is a changeup low for ball 4. Tomorrow, an off day for the league, of the Cape Cod League, that is. Fenway Day from America's most beloved ballpark, where Major League Baseball scouts will be in attendance, checking out some of the future stars.
Always a fun day for the league. Will be the 18th annual time they do that workout at Fenway.
Leadoff hitter Jaden Bastian digs back in from the right side, takes a look at ball 1 by the wayside. You got to go to that event last year. What is about that makes that so special?
I think it's the connections. You have so much, and it's also always seen as one of the baseball meccas, right? So you see a guy like Antonio Morales, our right fielder today for the Falmouth Commodores. Norfolk, Massachusetts native, grew up going to Fenway and cheering on the Red Sox. So you got those kind of stories, but also a guy like Barrett Harrison, who's never been to Massachusetts before in his life, has heard about Fenway Park a million times, and now gets to play there in his first time at the park.
Pitch from Berg is taken inside for a ball.
And then maybe the best story of the season in that respect would be first-year field manager Jared Saltzamaki. He's got a little bit of history and a little bit of experience at Fenway Park with the Red Sox.
World Series champion back in 2013. Had a walk-off in that 2013 postseason run as well. Berg's 2-0. Bouncer in the dirt, gets away from Harrison all the way to the screen. Allows Mendez to scurry up to second on the wild pitch. I mean, me and you, both Massachusetts guys, been to Fenway time and time again. Do you have a favorite thing about Fenway? I mean, for me, every time I walk into that ballpark, I learn something new, or it brings me back to a childhood.
That's what I was going to say. I think there's a chance that before the 1 to 3 p.m. Commodores workout, we could be getting a tour of Fenway. The good tour guys at Fenway will give you a new nugget every single time.
Yes, that's so true. That is so true.
That's what makes a good tour guide a great tour guide.
3-0 from Berg. And Bastian takes it for ball 4. It's a 4-pitch walk from Berg. Runners at first and second. Nobody gone bottom 8th. Doors 14. Firebirds 5. Do you have a favorite nugget from Fenway? I can give you a couple if you want.
One of my favorite ones when using the tour, as there's this mountain meeting here between Harrison and Berg, is the Morse code of the two
That's
original
a great
owners on the monster. It's one of those things that you don't see, but when it gets pointed out by, again, not a good tour guide, a great tour guide who gives you that nugget, you don't look at the monster the same because you're always looking for that Morse code. Believe right next to the American League and National League standings.
Correct. It's by the N in American and around the E, the first E in League, I believe. I think my favorite has to be the red seat out the right field bleachers where Ted Williams hit a 502-foot home run, the longest home run in Fenway's history. That's always a great one. Lefty on lefty to O'Shaughnessy, and it's taken for strike one.
One of the best games that I've been to was just the other Friday with you, my friend.
We were there
went to
Friday.
That Red Sox-Yankees game. We're talking to head field manager Jared Saltalamacchia about that. Got the pleasure of
Time called at home plate. Don't believe Berg addressed the hitter there.
Got the pleasure of seeing Garrett Crochet pitch into
First
the
time
ninth
in person.
inning for what was a Red Sox walk-off win. We're talking with head field manager Jared Saltalamacchia about what it's like catching an ace like Crochet.
O'Shaughnessy pops it up third base side, going to get out of play. And he said for rookies, it's a little bit different than veterans, don't you think?
He did, and a guy like Garrett Crochet, he knows his pitches. He knows who he's going to throw. They almost call the game themselves, compared Crochet to Clay Buchholz, who we had the pleasure of catching there with the Red Sox, including in that 2013 World Series championship team. So then, compared that to a lot of these arms on the Cape, young guys, 20, 21-year-old pitchers, might have more of that rookie mindset.
The pitch. Shot foul third base side once more.
I'm talking about a bingo game, though. That Red Sox-Yankees game that we were
That
talking
had
about
everything as well.
about. A little bit of everything. Into the ninth inning, Crochet. He's got that one more batter. It's Aaron Judge who sends a moonshot over the Green Monster. Ties it at one.
You're looking around the ballpark. You just see surrender cobras everywhere. Stunned. How about that being the final series for Raffy Devers in a Red Sox uniform as well?
But could be the start of Kyle Harrison's tenure as well with the Red Sox.
Very true.
Older brother of the catcher here, and Kyle.
Very true. 1-2 from Berg. Drops right at the letters for a called strike three. Perfectly placed, and it sits down O'Shaughnessy for out number one in the eighth.
Really good pitch by Berg, and what you have to remember as well is there's action in both the Commodores and the Firebirds' bullpen. This is still important innings for these pitchers, Andrew. This is still the way for these pitchers to show what they have on a Cape stage. Valued innings as Berg is taking advantage despite the lopsided score.
Michael Crossland from the right side. First pitch. Takes a strike right down the heart of the plate. Of course, this still means tape, footage, whatever you want to call it for any of these guys standing on the diamond right now. And you want to take full advantage of your time here.
Especially those guys on the mound whose college coaches usually give them a set number of innings that they're allowed to pitch on the Cape.
Ball one. 1 ball, 1 strike from Berg.
Whether it's a reliever, a starter like Matt Saucer, and Matt Saucer made 10 appearances at UCF this season, 9 were starts. So those are innings that can really add up for a guy. College coaches understand the development and wanting these guys to be scouted by the MLB and other scouts on the Cape, but they also understand that, hey, I need this guy back for August and September and be ready to go, not worn out after a long spring season and throwing too many innings, whether it's the Cape or a different summer league.
Also players that are looking for new homes as well in the transfer portal. This could be a tryout, if you will, for those Power 5, Power 4 teams, if you will. Pitch from Berg. Grounded foul third base side, and Berg slaps his glove. Definitely wanted that one back.
I was going to say, he's also the peak example of what exactly you're talking about. Left-handed pitcher in the transfer portal. Has Big 12 experience at Arizona, looking to make that move. So, of course, the Major League Baseball scouts who are in attendance here will be looking at Berg. But you got to think for Berg, he also understands his next move is going to be collegiately and understanding that those coaches are certainly watching how he pitches on the Cape.
Absolutely. His 2-2 to Crossland. Swing and a miss. There's the result he was looking for. Only just took 1 extra pitch thanks to a fastball on the outer half. And there is 2 outs.
Those college coaches, Major League
Be
Baseball
impressed with
scouts,
that one.
they're seeing 2 consecutive strikeouts from their guy, Jack Berg.
Another pinch hitter for the Firebirds. Going to be number 33, Robbie Levy off the bench. Coach Nicholson really emptying out that unit tonight. A rising junior from George Washington from the DMV area. First offering from Berg is just outside for ball 1 to the lefty. Lavi's third appearance of the season. He's 2 for 7 so far. A true utility guy, can play all over the infield, with second team All-10 this past season. The pitch, fouled back. 1 ball and 1 strike. And also for the Doors coming up as well, some familiar opponents on the schedule. On Thursday, it's another date with Brewster. The 1-1 is taken for a called strike. Commodores go to the Whitecaps on Thursday before coming back home to face these Firebirds on Friday back at the Gov. Berg, a long look in, the 1-2. Just outside. Bear Harrison kind of stood up a little bit and said, hey, why don't you give that to my guy a little bit?
You mentioned that schedule. It's interesting, this part of the season, right? This is the 4th consecutive game that all these teams have played, and you're rewarded by an off day, in which is a combine scout day at Fenway before 4 to 5 more consecutive games before the league-wide off day in 6 days on Monday. So these guys, especially the guys who are seeing a lot of time in the lineup, you don't get that schedule even in postseason play at your respective colleges.
Now last pitch, a ball in the dirt. 3 balls, 2 strikes from Berg. Runners at first and second with 2 gone. The pitch, runners take off, and it is strike 3. Jack Herg, after back-to-back runners to lead off the inning, goes good morning, good afternoon, and good night with 3 consecutive strikeouts. No runs, no hits, no errors, 2 left on base. It is time for the final inning of play. It has been all Doors as we continue to move things along from Eldridge. Commodores 14, Firebirds 5. The ending on the other side.
The 99 Restaurant and Pub is proud to be a sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League this summer. Visit your local 99 and try their famous colossal lobster rolls, piled high on grilled brioche and served either hot and buttered or with just the right amount of mayo and celery to go along with the fries and coleslaw. Visit your local 99 restaurant this summer today. You gotta love the Nines.
We are almost at the finish line from beautiful Eldridge Park. Top of the 9th between the Doors and the Birds. It is all Falmouth in this one, 14-5, as Falmouth just 3 outs away defensively from getting to a 2-2 record. Another arm out there for the Firebirds. It's going to be the rising sophomore from San Diego, the right-hander, one of the best names I've heard of all time, Steele Murdoch. Stands in at 6'2", 210 pounds. From Utah, about 20 miles southeast of Salt Lake City, making his first appearance at the Cape this season.
From Harryman, Utah. It's one of the underrated, the cool parts about the Cape Cod Baseball League. So many different players coming from so many different backgrounds and influences. You get these cool names, cool nickname oranges. Bear Harrison, Bull Mizell here with the Falmouth Commodores. Steele Murdoch, an example for the Orleans Firebirds.
Have you heard of do you know who Roger Murdoch is? Have you seen the movie Airplane?
Yes.
Okay. Played by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I don't think there's any relation. Top of the lineup starting with Antonio Morales in the 9th. The first pitch for Murdoch is just outside for ball 1. It's a great scene where this little boy walks in the cockpit and says, no, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar says, I'm Roger Murdoch. And he says, no, you're Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. My dad says you don't play defense. Foul ball, third base side, 1-1. Definitely a movie that is right up my alley.
I can see that.
Murdoch likes the sign. Morales taps home plate and is ready for the 1-1. Here it is. Way up and outside. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Gonna be thinking Roger Murdoch with every call you make now.
I usually think of him anyways. The pitch. Outside. 3 balls, 1 strike. It's been a great day for Morales. A triple in the first extra base hit of the season for the Doors. Followed up with a pair of walks. (3-1). Morales off the end of the bat towards center field. Bastian, couple steps over and hauls it in for out number 1. It has been a busy day over it there at center field for Jaden Bastian, who feels like he's had to run east, west, north, south to catch about just everything.
For 3 hours and change as well, too. This game's been going long. That's what happens when you have a 9-run 6th inning, as the Commodores did.
Justin Osterhaus, first pitch. Check swing, did not go around. Couple of changes for the Firebirds offensively. Robbie Lavey stays in the game. He's the new catcher. The 1-0. Fouled back off the catcher in Lavey, back to the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Speak about catches, or changes, I should say, substitutions and some pinch hitters in this 9-run game. A little surprised to see Falmouth not go to their bench a bit more and get some other at-bats in this 14-5 lead.
A 1-1. Breaking ball, nicely punched in by Murdoch.
But that's the beauty of a long season. And a season with so many games, if these guys aren't getting at-bats now, you have an opportunity less than 48 hours from now to get some more in-game action.
1-2, another breaking ball just outside. And we've seen Coach Saltomaki utilize a lot of different lineups already this season. We have not seen the same lineup card through these first 4 games. There's been a lot of mixing and matching, trying to find the right pieces to the puzzle early on. 2-2. Osterhaus pops it up, foul third base side, back to South Orleans Street.
Coach Saltomaki's also discussed and understood, too, that the biggest part of managing a team like this is understanding when to get guys at bats and how to get guys innings and make sure that everyone is seen on such a national stage, which Saltomaki has done.
Another 2-2. Goes back to the breaking ball just above the letters. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Osterhaus. Does have an RBI in this one. Has reached twice out of his 4 plate appearances. The payoff pitch. Osterhaus jammed him off the end of the bat, up the middle. Mendez over for out number 2. A nice play as that bat absolutely broke in half.
Something about Osterhaus and broken bats. He's been the one breaking.
It's been 3 out of 4 games now. 2 of them, he's got an RBI single out of it.
Running up that Commodores tab. Good play, though, by Mendez over there. He did a really good job. Silky smooth move to his left and then nailed it on that throw to first base. Just nailed it.
First 2 retired for Bear Harrison in the righty on righty. First pitch, Harrison tries to get all of that one. Comes in at 96 for Murdoch. The 0-1. Harrison another cut and miss. Murdoch goes back to the fastball. Same result, same speed as well. 96 on the gun from the righty. The 0-2. Harrison gets a piece of this one and skies it foul behind home plate and out of the ballpark. Murdoch, as we just mentioned, just wrapping up his freshman season. He's also a communications major. He's one of us.
I guess so.
Well, you know, in some way at least. Another 0-2. Harrison fouls it off his foot, rolls into foul territory, but called foul at home plate by home plate umpire Jeff Merzell.
Yeah, I don't think you can pitch a 92-mile-an-hour fastball as Murdoch just did, or look as good as Bear Harrison has on these swings. Again, 6'3", 230-pound frame for Harrison. Such a natural back reload on that right foot and push and move it all forward. It's kind of led to a big day, too, with those 2 home runs.
The 0-2 once more, way up and out. 1-2. Got to showcase our athletic abilities a little bit earlier today against some D1 talent on the golf course. That was a lot of fun.
We did.
Got C.K. Neishman, as well as T.J. Coates and Devin Sheeran. 1-2. Harrison swung on a miss, fooled on the changeup in the dirt. Falmouth goes 1-2-3 in the top of the 9th. The Doors just 3 outs away from victory number 2 on the season. Can they get it done? That might be a dumb question. You'll find out on the other side here on Cape League TV. Out there to close the door as we close the door. Bottom of the 9th inning. Commodores 3 outs away from a victory. Back alongside Ryan Martin, I'm Andrew Della Piana. Commodores, all they really needed was that 9th spot in the 6th, and they've been cruising since. Commodores 14, Firebirds 5 as we begin the 9th with, again, Zach Johnson on the bump. The left-hander at 6'5", 190 pounds, the rising senior from Wake Forest. Has pitched once this season, only just threw 1 out, where he recorded it from North Yarmouth, Maine. His first offering is way outside. Dawson Bryce out there for his 2nd plate appearance. Before we went to break, Ryan, we were talking about some fun we had on the course today at beautiful Falmouth Country Club. The pitch from Johnson, swing and a miss. Bryce was fooled on that one.
It's the place to be. They get us right on that Talon course. Beautiful 9-hole course, nice day.
And a nice morning before heading to the ballpark. The 1-1 off the end of the bat. Corralled by Moran over at first, who will trot over to first in time for out number 1. Here's Jordan Taylor once more. The left fielder came into this ball game as a replacement for Tristan Salinas back in the 5th. Gunned down a runner from left field on a line-out double play. First pitch from Johnson is in there for a called strike. Falmouth Country Club, one of the proud sponsors of the Falmouth Commodores. Always love checking out that 9-hole course, getting a quick round in before broadcast some baseball. We have some fun.
Can't not have fun being on the Cape.
No,
that's what we're talking about with Caden Neishman, T.J. Coates, and Devin Sheeran today on the course.
Love to get a nice bite to eat as well afterwards at a place like Shipwrecked or Supreme Pizza as well. Also a proud sponsor of the Falmouth Commodores. The 0-1, oh my, waving at the changeup.
Both Massachusetts guys, we've had so many incoming Commodores players ask us, where's the best food? Where's the best spots? And Falmouth Shipwrecked is always one of my favorite spots. You have that outlook of the Heights Beach. Great food, great view.
1-2, wave and a miss from Bryce. Fooled on the breaking ball in the dirt. 2 up, 2 gone for Zach Johnson.
It's a really good strikeout from Johnson. Again, talking about these pitchers for both teams who are in this 9-run game. This is still an important outing for Johnson, who might only have X number of innings to utilize during his time on the Cape.
Last chance for Orleans with Chris Barr, the righty. First pitch is outside, ball 1. Johnson, a long look in, his 1-0 to Barr. Goes to that breaking ball once more, and this one is in the zone. 1 ball, 1 strike. Coming up after the game, don't forget to tune into our post-game show, Closing the Door, where we'll hear from one of the Commodores after the victory. Ball in the dirt, 2 balls, 1 strike.
Believe, not to tease it too much, believe it's Bear Harrison. He's our player of the game, sponsored by Seafood Sam's.
Be a great player to talk to. Timmy Weiss would be a smart man for doing that, I'll tell you that. 2-1. Great spot from Johnson, the outer corner. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and the Doors 1 strike away from a victory. Johnson is 2-2. Swung on and miss, and that will do it. All the Doors needed was a little road cooking. They are 2-0 on the road this season, back to 500, thanks to a dominant 14-5 victory over Orleans. And the Commodores are back to 500, thanks to a 9-run 6th inning.
To call this a get-right game might be an understatement for the Commodores. Again, scoring 4 runs across the first 2 innings, but then you can't talk about this game without talking about the 9-run top of the 6th inning. That was remember, it was a 4-3 Commodores lead. You leave that half inning, all of a sudden it is 10-3 in favor of the Doors. You love the 2 home runs you got from Bear Harrison. Add another one from Micah New as well as Landon Moran. This was a get-right game for the Bats. Andrew, when you desperately need it, the only question is, can this carry into Fenway? And you know these guys are going to be swinging for the monster tomorrow during that Combine Day. Hopefully get the Bats back under them as well for that game Thursday at Brewster.
Great to see through as we go through the box score and just look at some incredible numbers from the Commodores tonight. Everyone in the lineup getting a hit. 2 guys with multi-hit performances. 1 guy you'll hear from just a little bit in Bear Harrison, as well as Landon Moran. 5 RBIs in this one for Bear Harrison, who is no doubt our player of the game, who we'll hear from Timmy Weiss in just a moment. But also, I think an important part of this game too, Ryan, was after Orleans cut into that 4-run lead, and I don't know if both of us kind of looked at each other and said, oh no, here we go again, kind of similar to what happened with the 9th inning a couple nights ago against Brewster.
All right, I was exactly going to bring up that game against the Whitecaps because that was a 1-run Falmouth lead for almost the entirety of the game, so it felt like Falmouth was in control, and you blink at the top of the 9th inning, and you're reminded that the Commodores are only up by a run. Same situation here, where it was a 4-3 lead for Falmouth, but all of a sudden, it's Orleans with all the momentum here at beautiful Eldridge Park, and the Commodores shut down all of that notion, a 9-run top of the 6th. 9 runs in that half inning alone when they only had 4 runs across the first 3 games combined. That's exactly what this offense needed, exactly what we talked with Coach O'Reilly about pregame.
Jackson Vanesco gets credited with the win, going 2 1/3 with 3 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. And on the side for the Firebirds, it is the starting pitcher in Truman Pauly who gets credited with the loss after 3 innings, 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, and the 1 home run allowed. But I think the point we keep going to is the amount of power in this Falmouth lineup. We've been kind of talking about it all preseason long. It's a team that knows how to hit, and we really have not seen it on display in these first 3 games. But something Jack O'Reilly and Jared Soltomachia must have said to this team going into tonight really flipped the switch.
Right, I think again, you're looking at the first-year staff under Soltomachia, giving this team and giving some guys some patience to settle in, and knowing that the coaches that you bring in are more than prepared to share their knowledge for the game with everything. Remember, this was a team that did not have an extra base hit at all across the first 3 games of the season. And what do? They respond with 4 homers. Plus, they got to add a couple of doubles in that leadoff triple on the very first batter of the game from Antonio Morales. A triple on the first batter. We should have known this was going to be a special game for the Commodores. It was exactly that with a 14-5 win.
Definitely helped. This park was a little bit friendly as well. We heard from Timmy Weiss a little bit earlier. We'll hear in just a little bit. The corners of this field are really playing a large part. We've seen balls that have been well struck get the gub, but of course a little bit deeper out to right and left that don't play a huge role in that game. But of course, 300 out to left field, 314 out to right, and we've talked about it all game long, 334 out to dead center. This is a hitter-friendly ballpark, and I think that was a massive part of tonight's victory.
Certainly was. I think you look at the hits that the Commodores were able to produce, and getting it all together. The home runs showed the power. I think I was most impressed by, because even those hits against Chatham, Brewster, and Harwich, loop singles, the broken bat RBI single. You think back to that one at Veterans Field in Chatham on Saturday. Those are the kind of hits that the Commodores had throughout the first 3 games of the season, and then just a switch flipped here against the Firebirds.
Well, this is Closing the Door. We'll have one more break. We'll have more post-game coverage on the other side, where Timmy Weiss talks with our player of the game in Bear Harrison. Doors win this one 14-5. Still more coverage coming up after just a short break.
Timmy Weiss joined by Bear Harrison after the Falmouth Commodores take down the
Wrapping up shop here on a special longer edition of Closing the Door after the Commodores take down the Firebirds 14-5 and Falmouth 2-0 on the road this season. Timmy Weiss, the third member of our crew, is down on the field with Bear Harrison, our player of the game. Timmy, what a performance from Bear tonight.
Timmy Weiss joined by Bear Harrison after the Falmouth Commodores take down the Orleans Firebirds 14-5. Bear, you had a phenomenal day out here, and the bats of Falmouth have really been struggling the first couple games. Only had 4 runs, but come in and put up 14 today. How does it feel to have that off of your chest?
Yeah, it feels great. You know, it's kind of the elephant in the room. We need our hitters to get some hits. And the first 3 games, we weren't doing the job. And I'm glad it paid off because this is some extra reps at the field earlier. The whole team did. And really just focused on getting good swings down and getting our A swing off. So it definitely paid off, and it's good to see that.
You had 2 home runs today, and 1 to right field, 1 to left field. Was there any adjustments that you made coming into today to really have success at the plate?
Yeah, just really focused in BP and trying to learn some new things after every single swing. So I think just slowing the game down myself and, you know, looking right side for a fastball and pulling it if they give me an off speed. So it worked out good today, and I'm going to keep on moving with that forward.
How do you make sure that the team continues its momentum with the bats?
Yeah, just grind every day. You know, it's a long season, playing every day and stuff. So as long as we're focused at the plate mentally, I think our swings are good enough to play. So yeah, we just got to keep on being focused at the plate.
Falmouth takes it 14-5 over Orleans. Andrew and Ryan, back to you guys.
Hey, thanks so much, Timmy, for that interview with Bear Harrison. After a 5 RBI performance, you poked the Bear early on with a hit by pitch, and he makes you pay with a 2-run home run later on here on Closing the Door. Commodores win this one 14-5 over the Firebirds. That does it from Orleans. Tomorrow, Fenway Day. Everybody go home, take a day off, enjoy yourself. Be back on Thursday. We will be in Brewster as the Commodores take on a 4-0 Whitecaps team. Coverage at 5 o'clock. We will be on the air at 4:50 with Opening the Door. Don't forget to join us then. But for our entire crew here from Orleans, our producer Dan Papillo, our third member of our crew, Timmy Weiss,